that.
All right.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome to Greatest Feedback Loop
I
Ever.
thought Deacon was doing the
Oh
intro.
yeah, sorry, I got distracted by the mic.
Yeah, you're
You're
the
great.
Greatest,
host.
greatest
You're the
Feedback
host.
Loop talk show.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Long Beach, California, straight from TwitchCon, from a great Airbnb hosted by Abuelita Maria. This is Greatest League Talk Show. Skara, Mark Z, Josh, and myself, Digon. How's it going?
You know, Josh is the only person that you don't shout his last name.
or his gamer name.
Yeah, Kim just doesn't matter.
I just said Skara though. I mean,
He's Zell.
Okay.
There it is.
So yeah, as you can tell, not quite the regular setup.
Yeah, we're not in our living room.
Or even Skara's bedroom,
Yeah.
which has hosted a couple Greatest League talk shows.
Yes, so there is a chance we may run into technical difficulties, as in like the stream may just cut off at any moment.
Yeah. So be prepared.
We should have good enough internet. We looked at the rates. The rates seem fine. It just might be a little bit of the connection quality might drop. So where are we again, Digon? In case anyone missed it.
Anyone missed it? Long Beach, California, here for TwitchCon. So
At a random
at
Hispanic lady's
Abuelita
house.
Maria, who's a wonderful, wonderful lady
Doesn't
from
that just translate to
Tijuana.
Grandma Maria?
That is,
Yeah.
but when you put
The
the
little
Lita,
grandma, yeah.
it's the
It's like
it's
the
the
cute-
darling grandmother.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the grandmother you don't like, it's just
Ah,
Abuela.
Yeah.
So we had this Airbnb. We wanted to make sure that we had solid internet, which
Yeah, I did
is
not
kind
want to
of
go to a
iffy.
hotel.
And but yeah, so all three of them are on a bed, and it's time to get intimate. Let's go, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Of course, before we get started, we should shout out our beautiful sponsor. You want to take that?
Our lovely sponsor.
well, are we going live or is this the pre-show right now? That's the question.
Well,
Man,
it doesn't
I
matter.
don't give a shit.
It doesn't
Alright,
matter because
alright.
regardless if we're going live or it's a pre-show, we love our sponsor either way.
That's true.
Our great sponsor right over there,
There.
Acer
Love Digon's
Predator.
head.
Right above.
the official sponsor for not only our show but also League of Legends Championship, their official monitor sponsor and their titles, not their title sponsors, one of their official
The
sponsors.
replay sponsor.
The
Yeah,
replay
brought
sponsor.
to you by
Predator.
Acer Predator. some
Perfect.
team fights out of Samsung Galaxy brought to you by.
Acer Predator.
Yeah.
There it
See,
is.
everyone's getting in on it. You guys should get in on it too.
All right. Well, how's everyone's TwitchCon experience so far?
I've been there for like a total of 2 hours.
Me too. Actually, less than you.
Yeah.
About the same as these two. I just want to say, if you guys are coming out for TwitchCon, you guys might want to consider wearing some shorts.
Dude, it
because-
is hot in there.
It's very warm.
Usually comic convention stuff is, okay, we're going to keep it
Whoa.
as,
There you go. Like, get that stank out of here.
as
I'm
cold
telling
as
you.
possible, but at this TwitchCon, they decided to go the reverse, where they put it, like, hot, and that way, like, less people show up. I'm guessing, because it's a little bit hotter than usual.
Yeah, it is. It's just musty in there sometimes, and it's really gross. But you know.
Yeah. I had a pretty fun experience getting in.
Yeah.
Digon had to run and find me my badge, and I had to run down to the HyperX booth to do our meet and greet.
Yep.
Skara was late, kind
Well,
of.
Hey,
He
he got there
beat
before
me.
you.
He beat me.
I
was
how,
late.
how you gonna call
I'm
someone
just
else
saying
late?
I-
when you were
Yeah.
late?
because
That
I
was a
know I'm
poor
late.
deflection
I'm
tactic.
I'm late, but so was this guy.
But
Both of us took the same wrong turn in two separate cars.
Yes. It was, I blame Google Maps. Not my fault and not
Yeah,
mine.
sure. Yeah.
I mean,
Deflection.
it's just, both of us have the same problem. It tells you to take a left. You take a left, and it's like, oh wait, I'm not crossing that river I need to cross.
I didn't have this problem.
You
I
probably
have
didn't
this
come the
problem.
same way. You came in the middle of the day. They told you to take a different route.
Yeah.
Waze,
maybe.
baby. Did you do Waze?
No, I
Or
didn't do
Google
Waze.
Maps?
Oh.
Ah, there's the issue.
I thought Google Maps bought Waze.
Well, Waze got me here, so.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right. Well, what do you guys want to talk about today?
I mean,
Before we get into the games, obviously.
Well, I mean,
Do you want to
Well-
continue on TwitchCon? Like, how is it? Did you guys go last year?
yes.
Yes. I
And
did
then
go
how's
last
it compared this year to last year? Because this is my first one.
I haven't done anything yet, so I'm a totally unqualified source. But last year, TBH
Oh,
kind of sucked.
hit him with the truth.
Oh.
There
Keep
was
going.
just nothing to
It's
do
okay. We're
there.
not sponsored by TwitchCon. You
Yeah, I
can
don't.
say it.
I don't care. I don't even stream. I don't even stream.
well, as the official streamer of this group.
Yeah,
Second-
this,
second
this
official.
doesn't reflect your opinion, so that
Yeah,
now you're safe.
Yeah, even though it's
Right.
on your channel,
Right.
you know, this
So,
definitely isn't just.
to be honest, TwitchCon is like, it's one of those
But you're not
conventions-
supposed to say it so you can be safe.
Oh,
that's what
right.
Mark was supposed
So you should say what I say. Okay.
Yeah, so
All right. So TwitchCon.
TwitchCon.
Yes, it's a place where you should go like maybe one day unless you're really interested in.
It's
some
a
of
place
the
you
meet
should
and
go like
greets.
one day unless you're really into some streamers and you want to go to meet and greets. I haven't seen as much this year. This year looks a lot more hyped with like tons more developers are here.
Oh,
which,
yeah.
which
Yeah.
is cool because
It feels like a real convention.
It feels like a real convention. Last year it was like a glorified meet and greet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
that
I
you
heard.
pay $200
Sorry.
for.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, or I could just not, I could just Photoshop myself in the picture for free.
Yeah.
and save myself
One of the
money.
funniest things is if you're a small streamer, like TwitchCon is like where you want to be, but where you shouldn't be, because you should be streaming when all the other streamers are away. You're raking in the viewers, man. When I streamed yesterday, I had 10,000 viewers. And I was just like, wow, what happened?
Yeah,
And
why
that-
are you here?
I looked at Shroud, and I was
Do
like,
we
he
have-
has 60,000 viewers.
Do we
Why?
have 10,000 viewers right now? What are our
What do
viewers
we
at?
got?
Yeah.
Man, we're at 1,000.
All right.
Mad props to the real 1,000 for sticking with us, even though, it's a Friday night.
We started literally like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I forgot. Everyone is pretty comfortable with like us three over here, but we never really introduced
Oh, yeah.
Degon.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, this is Degon.
So, yeah, you do your own
Wanna
introduction.
Introduce yourself.
This
Are
here
we-
is Daniel Degon Gonzalez. If you guys watched a lot of the Challenger broadcasts with me this year,
That's correct.
he helped me out on the desk a couple times.
That's right. Do play-by-play and hosting over at Riot, and I did LCS, the promotion series, as well. And then I do the interviews sometimes with the guys. Yep. So kind of been shoutcasting for about 4 years. Saw it over at Staples Center. I was like, I want to do something like that. And then just been grinding up since then. College leagues, high school leagues, Challenger Series stuff, wherever I can go. And then I got a couple gigs that got me to PAX. And then I'm here.
Would you say Greatest League Talk Show is the best honor, the biggest honor you've
Oh,
had?
100%, right?
I've been waiting for this moment all my life, even before we knew what the title was
Oh.
going to be.
Back
and
in
I
the
was
post-league
like,
time era.
I need to hop in. I need to hop in. So,
And
thank
that's
you
why
guys.
he's on this show, ladies and gentlemen. He can lie with a straight face.
Great actor.
That's me. That's me.
You guys want to just hop into
Yeah,
the first
let's
topic?
jump into it.
Because it's
dude.
not quite gameplay analysis, the first one I put on here.
Whoa.
Whoa.
You don't understand.
Whoa, where's
Whoa,
my webcam?
Hey,
Where'd we go?
turn out the lights.
Well,
Well,
I will say though.
Sometimes you just have to restart. Just
Whoa,
Whoa.
whoa,
Almost
whoa, Windows update, chill. Look at like 8, all right?
how about, wait, why just 8?
How about just turn it off?
Because I have to watch the LCS games on midnight. I can't have the Windows update popping up.
Oh my
oh
god.
my god.
All right, let's see if we can get this.
Okay, well
Oh.
that's us.
Oh.
Okay, that's not us.
Oh.
So, do you guys just
How
want
about-
to
how
put
about we
topics
just
on
talk-
here?
How about we just talk about it?
Yeah, we
and
can just
then
put
it'll
the
be fine.
topics on here. You know
It's
what?
not like
okay.
anyone goes into our YouTube and does the time coding anyways.
Wait, the guy is doing it now, though.
Yeah,
Oh
he
shit,
is.
really?
Oh.
Well,
All right,
that's awkward.
I'll start adding some topics.
All right, so the first thing we
Alright.
want to talk about is sort of the whole franchising thing that's happening and all the new investors that are getting into the league.
NBA LCS.
Yeah, so everyone has been kind of like, talking about it as the NBA LCS. Some people have asked like why don't other organizations do it, but like NFL has strict contracts where they're not allowed to own different teams.
Oh, is that true?
Mhm,
Yeah.
that's why NFL does not get into it. So,
Oh, I was actually wondering. So like, NFL has a lot of money. Like,
yeah,
they
of
should
course,
be in
right?
it,
Like,
yeah.
but in any case, so we have NBA. We heard the Yankees have now joined in on this crazy esports ride that we're on.
Yeah, and all of this is allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly, and it's just
Yeah,
the league,
it's
so.
it's so funny. It's just we just kind of assume it's true.
Well, like
Whatever.
for
No one's ever gotten anything wrong before.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like his Jacob Wolf's track record is like 90%, and so if we're
Pretty
wrong
good.
by one team, it's
Pretty good.
okay,
We're- usually, at least we got some sort of idea of what might be going on, and
Right.
that's probably good enough to start talking about it. But I think one of the most interesting things I think of what happened with franchising so far is that famously, someone died. Immortals.
I was gonna say, wait, who am I crying over? And right.
You already forgot about them?
Dude.
Skara, not an Immortals
Dude,
fan.
Scar just
I'm-
moves on quick. He just accepts reality.
Yeah. I'm a person who just like I live in the moment, and the moment doesn't have immortal. Allegedly doesn't have immortals. Sorry. I have to wait for the confirmation, but yeah, it results oriented. I wish they were in the LCS. They're one of the first
New orgs.
new orgs that are able to make it to. They're the only new org able to make it in the LCS final, right?
I mean, there's only been three before
yeah.
them.
Right. So
GGU.
Yeah.
And-
Oh,
and-
no,
and
they're not a
GGU.
real team.
What do you mean? Come on.
There's only been 4 teams now.
Miles, are you
GG,
watching this?
Yeah.
Daydream is crying. Bible thump.
But all I'm saying is, yeah. So they're one of the
10
only orgs that can
Zion
do it.
Spartan? Jinte? Sorry, okay.
You actually know your
Shifter?
history.
Yeah.
Of course.
Degon,
This is ancient
I
history.
would invite Degon on if he was like Josh, all right?
Wait,
Like,
what?
What?
Hey,
Oh,
hey,
fuck,
hey,
yo,
hey, hey,
yo.
Josh is great, man.
I've been in the LCS, stuff for a long time. All right.
Yeah.
I got some history.
Anyways, results based, I would love Immortals in, but it is Riot's thing, and I'm sure like they weren't just like, you know what, we don't care about results. It's more just like, you know what, what's the money look like? Let's look at this team. Wow, that's a lot of fat stacks,
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that, like, in the ESPN article, allegedly, Immortals is operating at significant loss, which to me is like, you're bleeding out probably millions of dollars every year. You just throw 20 million at Overwatch, and it's not like, oh, we're jealous of Overwatch. It's like, wait, do you have the financials to take care of two teams like that are supposed to be growing to massive leagues while you're already operating at a loss? Like, when do you start turning a profit?
Yeah, I think like you look at this from a financial point of view because franchising in the end is a lot about the financials, right? And so why would teams want to partner up with somebody who is actually just bleeding out money despite their performance? Because I think that's the reason why there's so many people who are upset about this is obviously Immortals, they're a new team, and one of the rare few organizations, to their credit, who have actually put together good rosters and have had success in the league. And so obviously that feels bad, but at the same time, like you said, they're bleeding money, probably not such a good look for them.
Right. I do miss Noah a little bit just because I always liked him.
He's still alive. Why does everyone say
He's
that?
gone. Rip in
He
peace.
was here.
Yeah, we saw him
We
at
saw his
TwitchCon.
ghost.
Oh,
Alright.
yeah, he's just hovering around now that he's no longer.
He's a husk of his former self.
Well, like I think he deserves
Feed
a
him
lot
some
of credit
humanity at a
for.
bonfire.
Sorry,
what?
Dark Souls reference. I love it. He got Huni Rain over to make a big splash for the first split. They ended up leaving. Couldn't keep him. Tries to do something in spring. Clearly doesn't work. And rather than like completely blow it up, knows the pieces that he needs to change. Gets a new coaching staff in there. Switches out the jungler, and all of a sudden they're good again. So I think you could say like at least he understood what it took to make a good team, which sucks to lose. But if like he's never gonna turn a profit for the league, and like how, because there's revenue sharing, it's like this guy literally does nothing but take money. Like that's from my understanding what was the potential like reality of the situation.
All right, but what does our special guest think?
I think that as someone that is affiliated with everything, I'm just going to take a step away and just kind of like, I don't know anything. They don't tell us anything. So everything on the speculation
The Fifth
stuff.
Amendment.
Yeah, I'm just
Well,
going to go like
to
that.
be fair, a lot of this stuff is literally off that one ESPN article, and they're just saying that some of the things, the issues that may have come up were the financials. We don't even know actually what the actual reasons for these things are. So
I think that Immortals, whenever I interviewed any of their players or anything like that, it was always great to see their players all waiting on the side and the whole staff waiting on the side. As soon as they're done, they come, they hug each other, and it is a great moment there. But yeah, that's all I can really comment on that. This first NBLCS.
All right. What about the idea that we got these big orgs coming in? Like maybe the idea of franchising wasn't like, I don't think people really wrapped their head around it. That for me at least, it wasn't like, oh, the Yankees are coming in, the Houston Rockets are coming in, potentially.
Yeah.
These are big names with big money. Like,
Well, when you're thinking about putting together a league that wants to last for generations, like you think about brands that have done that, and the teams that are allegedly being talked about have been around for quite some time and found success quite some time. Golden State, obviously champions after working their roster around. If the Houston Rockets are one, they used to win way back in the day with Hakeem the Dream, Kenny
I was gonna
Smith.
I'm gonna be like, T-Mac never got out of the first round, dude. What are you
I
talking
was
about?
gonna say, dude, I was a fan. They won like back to back in like '91, and then like they got Yao Ming, they got T-Mac, and then like they
Never
never
got out.
got out. Like first round
Right.
was just the kryptonite.
But
man.
the Rockets are a
8
team
points in
that
13 seconds.
there's a lot of articles on ESPN, or when you look at like the Sloan MIT type stuff, they're a team that is always on the cutting edge of how to push the numbers on metrics so that they can get the best performance for their value. So that's a thing there for them. And then obviously Cleveland pulled it together for, I guess, 2 years ago for their championship there with LeBron and the roster that they built around it. So I think, again, when you think about an organization or organizations, even Optic, an organization that has a pedigree and has a fan base and has years of a track record of success, there you go.
let's talk about that. The new teams, right? Like Optic, a very big name, right,
God.
in gaming. But what do you guys think is actually the percentage chance that they actually do well, like any of these new orgs?
Well, so what's weird is like, you know, you're like, all these new orgs, that's crazy, and then you're gonna be like, oh wow, it's Houston Rockets, blah blah blahs, and on their team is Laud and this guy and that guy,
Random
and,
Fuck 2,
yeah, and
Random
Golden
Challenger
Glue and
3.
this guy, and like it's gonna be the same names you've heard. Like it's not like maybe they can go out and get some more Korean talent, but as we've seen, Korean talent doesn't necessarily win you things. So I think the idea that like the league is suddenly gonna be like, oh my god, there's so much going on. It's
How many new teams are in? 4?
Allegedly 5, I think.
5.
That's a lot of new teams.
2 of the 5 teams will be able to
4 or 5.
make top 6, and that's it.
It's almost like mathematically.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the 5 teams will make top 6.
Well, I think one of the most interesting parts of this shift
I got it.
is like the. I'm glad you guys got that. Is the roster swap that's going to be happening, the roster shuffle that's going to be happening for whatever franchises are in or not in, because it's almost like the Korean Exodus a little bit, right? Where the teams after season 4 all like ended their contracts in the LCK, OGN at the time, and Chinese teams just usurped talent.
Yeah.
North America usurped talent. So now that there is kind of like we know that there's going to be contracts that are going to be shuffling around, here's another one, except for North American talent, to just shake things up all over again.
This one's
Well-
going to be one of the craziest roster seasons.
Yeah,
right?
I think you can say for sure the offseason is gonna be crazy because
It's
it's gonna be.
back, get we back, get we back.
Hello.
Wait, is it green?
Yeah, it's green.
That's
All right. Yeah, sorry guys, we're doing our best offline TV cosplay.
Abuelita, why did you do that?
Abuelita, no.
I
She's
just,
cooking.
I
She's
just want to let
cooking.
you guys know that Abuelita is my favorite streamer and she needs her bandwidth, you know.
Yeah.
So
Alright, let's
check
move-
her out, twitch.tv/Abuelita_Maria.
So we were at the point talking about the roster swaps and the players landing wherever they are.
Oh,
once
yeah,
this
yeah.
contract ends.
Potentially needing up to 50 players.
Yeah.
50 additional players total.
Yes.
I just want to see someone grab Praying Gorilla. That's all I want.
Really?
No,
Really?
yeah, I heard rumors. This is just rumorville.
Oh boy.
But there's a handful of Korean players, one who is Gorilla, who really wants a Western audience and would be really interested in coming to the tournament.
He speaks English really well. He's always tried to do English interviews.
Yeah.
Like ever since he started becoming more popular.
Yeah.
He's a guy who like, hey man, Rocks didn't work, Longzhu didn't work. You know, North America's not gonna work, but we'll pay you better.
What?
That
Come
that
on.
the thinking?
No,
What
dude.
is this?
Just think about
I'm
think,
just-
think about like TSM with Prey Gorilla, and you're thinking that.
Does that make their jungle do something?
Whoa! Well,
Easy there, cuz.
What happened?
Easy there,
come
cuz.
on, dude. They're already on the ground.
Yeah, it's too easy.
We haven't even gotten to that topic yet.
Jesus.
Holy cow. Bang bang.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
No, the new players. I will say though, if you've heard Korean players are interested, I know a lot of European players are interested, and
Oh yeah, Europeans are
Yeah.
probably.
super interested. On top of the fact that I know the players a lot of these orgs are looking for, they're looking for the same players. Because
Yeah.
when you have like this pool of free agency, like there's like priority lists and there's a couple people in the same priority. When you think about it, it's like, oh, these people are open, but all the teams want them.
Like everyone's gonna want Smithy, pretty much.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's an NA jungler who's pretty good. Let's get this guy.
If Paul Butler is free, easy.
Yeah.
An easy pickup. And it's like, well, it's going to be really, really wacky rosters is the way that I see it. But at least these players are going to get paid really well.
Well, I think what's gonna happen is like everyone wants to play with good rosters. So the first team that gets like a good coach with a good
Core.
star,
Yeah, core. Yeah.
yeah, like that'll work. So like, let's say Smithy and Pobelt are like playing together, and and somebody grabs Song as well, and you just start rebuilding Immortals. Like that team's gonna get
Yeah.
the rest, like more people to join. Like
that wouldn't be that bad.
yeah.
So here's the
Them two
thing.
Prey Gorilla. Oh!
Here's the thing, though, is that there's obviously a limited amount of talent that exists, but there are so many teams that need players. Are we gonna see people who no one's ever heard of just
Yes.
join these rosters, and they're just gonna be a joke team at the?
I don't think you'll find like at that level, because once you get to like the bottom 5 teams, it's gonna be like you will want a starting position over being on like another team's.
Right.
team, yeah.
So like TSM, yeah, like maybe they still have Mr. Rollins and Double. Like who knows? Like
Right.
maybe their B team's nasty, but like outside them and like maybe C9 and like a couple of the other like historic orgs, I don't think you'd want to play.
Make a comeback, dude.
Hey, whoa!
But the B teams are gonna have like new people, 100%. There's not enough like. They just need bodies.
There's not enough reason to like have a good player on your B team right now.
Right.
Well, the pro scene needs 100 players now, so
you just need bodies on there 100% on the B team. And I think that like for the main roster, you'll see these players and you're gonna see people imported from like Europe, like because if a lot of Europeans are looking to come over, like why would you say no?
Yeah, if Sven's like, hey.
Yeah, Miffy and Sven, we want to come over. Oh, well, you got it. Any team, you got it.
Yeah.
That's going to have a massive impact on that region and whatever region. Again, it's almost like the Korean Exodus, right? LCK, we thought that maybe it was going to get weak at Season 5 because all of Samsung left and went to the
who
money.
knows? Because what's funny is, so Sven, in one of his AMAs, he was like, I'm only going to go somewhere I think I can actually compete, which... Like if
North America.
Oh right, that was
Let's
the
go.
part.
yeah.
I don't know about that so much because Misfits, as we'll get into later, like kind of did Europe proud in a sense.
They
And
did.
So, like,
Oh, hell yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are gonna be like, let's make Europe great.
Just
So like maybe some of the players show a little more.
Just
loyalty.
wait for C9. Just hold on.
Yeah.
Just hold your horses. Dude, wait for C9.
Can't
Oh
wait.
god.
Even
Yeah.
if they beat WE, it's probably more impressive to take SKT to 5 games and almost
All right,
win.
just wait till the finals.
Okay, yeah.
You mean, wait till the
yes.
cup is hoisted.
Yes.
We'll still be talking about that Misfits game.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else on the NBA LCS?
Unless you guys got something, I'm down to jump into the games.
Yeah, let's just move on. I mean, it's a complicated issue. We'll get some more info as the season
Yeah,
progresses.
Riot
and-
hasn't said anything.
Yeah, so
Understandably.
I'm really curious what Riot will eventually say. Maybe they won't actually say anything.
I think
so.
no. They officially have to announce in November. I think.
Yeah. Well, who is?
Well, yeah, of course they have to announce, but the question is, how much clarity do they give?
Yeah,
is it just
yeah.
like, here are your new teams, or is it like, here are your new teams for these reasons, and here's why these teams didn't make it?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
How much clarity comes out?
And maybe teams themselves will get the latitude to actually talk about some of the reasons why they, maybe, who knows. Anyways, let's move on. We're going to talk about the first thing, which is Longzhu versus Samsung Galaxy. This was a terrific 3-0 by the better team, as we expected. It's-
was
wait,
never
wait,
in
what?
doubt.
Oh man.
I think that this game really surprised me in how Samsung made Longzhu look like just some guys. They looked like some guys out there, and I think we had a lot of pre-game focus on Cuvée and Khan in the top lane, but Crown just kind of took it to BDD, and it was like, it seemed like that wasn't
wait,
it wasn't
the,
like
the
a
laning phase was pretty brutal.
Well,
for
I
Crown.
mean, Crown had a really good performance, and if there was a
Yes.
performance that you thought Samsung was going to win off of, did you think Crown in the mid lane?
I thought Ambition was more important.
I thought he was more important, but like we'll get into more nitty gritty.
Yeah.
But I think both of them were suspect.
I think, overall,
You thought
BDD.
Ambition was suspect?
Yes, actually, a
Oh,
lot. A
interesting.
lot of the
Okay.
games, I thought like, he gets stuff started, but like how he gets stuff started sometimes is the wrong way to do it. But like we'll get later into it when we nitpick the games.
All right, well, I guess
start with game one.
Game one.
Oh, this is the game where,
This is the Malzahar game.
Yep.
Oh God, Malzahar
Malzahar
versus
versus
Syndra.
Syndra.
Okay, this mid matchup is bad for Malzahar.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious. It's not
How
bad.
bad?
It's not bad enough to where like the mid laner gets slammed. It's like 30 CS up and solo kill level 6. It was
Pretty disgusting, yeah.
It was
The
disgusting.
solo kill was he chunked him out of lane. Malzahar TP's back in the lane, gets chunked out, recalls, comes back again, gets solo kill.
Get killed, yeah.
It's
In, like, 7
disgusting.
minutes.
Yeah.
and flashed away. Right? That was
Yeah,
a flash.
yeah.
It was like something where you're just like, all right, this game is over because like Syndra should take the snowball lead with the jungler. Who, by the way, Cuz played this early game super well.
Yeah.
He Ambition tried the anti invade path where he goes buff to buff
Yep.
and into Wraith Camp, but Sedge can't do that because when Sedge goes buff to buff with the Tracker's Knife, she can't keep herself healthy at the Wraith Camp because she needs the Hunter's Talisman to do that. And then Ambition, or wasn't it Ambition? No, it was
Cuz.
Cuz just invaded and
Yeah.
just smashed her at the Wraith Camp, counter juggled, then ganked like both the soul lanes. Like he did so much work early game.
Yeah.
The problem was at 6, his first ult that he uses as Jarvan is mid, and they just chunk out Crown again, which is fine. and then he leaves mid lane like, hey, mid turret's at 30% HP, and I just chunked out their mid laner. This is great. And they have good vision control in the enemy team's jungle, so BDD's like, there's no way a Sejuani's around. I'm going to try and pressure this Malzahar who's 6 with ult under his turret.
This was kind of the story of BDD this whole series, actually. You know, famously, he has an incredible KDA. This guy never dies, and suddenly he starts dying a lot.
Dude, okay, I re-looked at that situation because I was like, how did that even happen? Like, this should be easily a free kill. He ganked with Syndra ulti on cooldown for 10 seconds. And I was just like, wait, what? If he had waited 5 seconds, 10 seconds for that ulti come up, it's a free kill. And even not, afterwards, they can just two-man mid.
Well, that's why I don't care that like they could have waited for the ult, but like Cuz was like, listen, I don't want to. He had already sat in the brush for like 20 seconds. He was already feigning a recall. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna just gank him, and then we'll get on with our day because even if he survives the gank, he's gonna be at 20% HP again. We'll take the mid turret and we'll snowball. But like Crown, instead of just like pressuring, actually starts walking into the turret to try and ult Crown. Then Crown just ults him first and holds him in place for Sejuani.
Yeah, he just ended up throwing his lead
BDD is so dumb.
hard.
Yeah.
And then after that, like BDD just made a ton of mistakes. Like he went for a roam on the bot lane, blows his flash trying to get a kill, doesn't get anything off. He doesn't even land the W. Goes back to lane, and then you're flashless against Malzahar Sejuani, so he can't like, you can't pressure. You can't pressure. And then he got picked off another time.
And there's this was the game too where they were posturing around mid, and he decides to try to finish off a low Malzahar, flashes in, and just ends up burning his own flash and getting himself killed.
Yeah. Okay, so a lot of people. This was the only close game of the series, and usually we say the series score at the very start. So, wait, we did. This is a 3-0.
Yeah.
But this game, the reason why I wasn't a huge fan of Ambition because he did get all this stuff started, right? He turned the mid lane gank. Mainly because the other person like kind of played weird, but yes.
Then he dove top.
Yeah, he dove top. The problem I have with Ambition is like the way he started the fights mid game was terrible. Like he would just throw in the ulti on Thresh and be like, all right, let's go. Like let's just get this fight started. The only reason Longzhi were able to win fights is because he would mess up the initiation, go in, and then they would return the initiation round 3 for 2. It happened 2 times, and then the one time where it worked out well for them, like. He hit someone else. He like
hit Thresh.
Yeah, he like whiffed the ulti, but it like was in the middle of the team, so it was okay.
I mean, to be fair, they had a way better team fighting comp with the Kennen instead of Jax, and then I forget obviously Sejuani over J4 is a little bit better for Sejuani, and then Malzahar versus Syndra is not necessarily better, but like.
Malz is much more easier to execute in team fights and just overall scales better.
Yeah, all around, their comp was basically like, if Jax ever jumps in, he's fucked. Because we'll Malz ult him, we'll Kennen ult him, we'll do so much stuff that he won't like ever do well. And to be fair, Khan actually still had good team fights.
Oh, he played
And if I remember correctly, no one built QSSs on their team. So I thought that was interesting. What did you... Okay, so going back to draft, I know this is weird, but we didn't really talk about the top lane, but the Jax was picked blind.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Like, do you think that they were in a situation where they think that they could set him up, or are they just like, hey, you know what? Khan is a really fucking good player, and let's see what he does.
All-star moment when he solo killed Faker on it, and so he can do it. He can do whatever.
Usually, the first game of best of 5, both the teams come in with something where it's like, okay, we'll give them a strategy, and if it doesn't work out, it's okay, because the first game is like, this is our best strategy or one of our best strategies. We're going with it. And it's like, if they have to adapt, if they find out it doesn't work, that's fine. But it's like, they're just confident in it.
Well, and also, like, Khan blind picking carries does happen before, and they've won like that, so I think they were just like, let's take the Jax here for whatever reason. Cuvée, over the course of the series, showed that, like, he can play carry versus carry and tank versus tank.
Yeah, he actually played really well.
He was super, super good. And then the problem is, like, so you're not getting a counter pick on Khan, it's actually BDD who's getting the counter picks, but he's fucking up the laning phases.
Yeah.
So he keeps,
the end of the laning phase.
Yeah, the end of like he smashes Crown for like the first 6 minutes, and then he starts throwing. And so like that lead that they should have in the draft starts getting smaller, and then Crown starts outperforming him.
Yeah. Let's talk about game 2, because this is where I felt like Crown really started to step up his game. Unless you wanted to still talk about game 1, was there?
No, game 1 essentially was.
There's like a ton of team fights.
Yeah, there was a bunch of team fights. Again, most of the team fights start with Ambition, like whiffing ulti or hitting like Thresh, and then it's like really, really up in the air, and then finally it gets to the point where it's Malz is so strong, where Ruler actually like plays positioning wise very, very well.
Yeah. Well, I think that's another thing is that Samsung's bot lane beat Longju's bot lane every time.
Yeah.
And
kept pressure.
Not always in good matchups. Like they're playing
Rakan.
They're playing like I think it was Rakan
Trist
into Lulu Varus and winning. Like
Yeah.
that shouldn't happen. And then
Yeah.
they played Tarek Trist into I think Lulu Varus as well or something and won that one. So like they didn't have winning lanes, but they were going even or better.
Oh.
So I think BDD deserves some shit, and I think the bot lane deserves some shit.
Yeah.
Game 1, Gorilla was on Thresh, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yes.
Thresh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up now.
It's Thresh.
Yeah, it is Thresh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Scar's got his notes.
Yeah, dude, I
A
wrote
lot of good they're doing you.
Well, come on, dude. What are you trying to say? But yeah, in the end, like what happens is I think team fight happens around Baron. Rakan gets a good pick, and then like with Sedge, and then the game's over.
Yeah, I mean that team fight, the team fight potential for Longzhu there was almost impossible to pull off, right? Like, anyone jumps in and they just instantly die to Malzahar.
Yeah,
and
they
so-
have to play it very, very carefully. And generally, as the game progresses, the Jarvan Sedge matchup starts favoring Sedge more and more and more.
Yeah.
Because like the Jarvan can only set up for his team, so unless the Jarvan has Rumble or something that really works well with his ulti,
Yeah.
he's a useless champion.
Yeah.
No Galio.
Yep.
No Galio. Yeah, Galio banned.
Yeah, I mean Galio's OP. Like
Yeah.
just straight up competitive wise, Galio is probably
we
the
probably
best.
won't see Galio for the rest of the
Yeah,
game.
and we'll get into a little bit of how good he is into the next series.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's just move in straight into the second game, I think.
So second game,
Oh, Ambition gets Sedge every game this series.
Yeah.
Just
so a couple things were interesting. Longzhu took blue side game 1, and I think that was right up Samsung's like draft plan. They're like, yeah, let's just not let Khan ever get counter picks. Like the fact that we have red side means we can always take top last. I think they do that again this game, and so it just makes it so like Khan can't pressure quite the way he wants to, and not getting red side first game was actually a big problem. And then once again, it's
the game starts.
BDD with the counter pick smashing lane.
Yeah, he just crushes in lane. He it's so bad that the Ambition has to come help him, and then when he comes help him, Cuz shows up as well, and Cuz secures the kill.
I mean, this is that freeze that always happens to like whenever someone's horribly outclassed in the mid lane, you see this freeze, and like
and
it's-
you're just like shit.
and the jungler's like, I have to go there, and
Yeah.
then the other jungler's there too, and it's like we're losing the 2v2, and like
It's a nightmare situation. Your best
Yeah.
case scenario is like you guys both get chunked and then lose pressure, but like you can push in the wave.
Yeah.
And then
And
the
then it
nightmare
resets.
situation
Yeah.
happened, which was like he died.
yeah. So this is another game where like Crown should get bodied.
Oh my. Okay, so the biggest thing in this game was the early game actually because of this. Okay, really really good for Longzhu. Then both the teams collapsed mid lane at 650 with essentially a 4v4 fight.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening is that BDD takes this convoluted ass route where he's kiting away from the incoming people. If he kites down toward his team, hugging the wall, he's not close enough to get Talia W'd after the Sedge ulti. Instead, he hugs like the middle of the lane, gets Sedge ulti, cleanses into the Talia W, dies instantly before his teammates can help him,
Yeah.
and then they clean up the 4-man play 2-for-0. And because of that, Sedge gets full vision control in bot side jungle, and in a minute later they dive bot lane, 4-man dive bot lane, and the early game completely over. It's just gone.
Yeah, Shen gets to the mid fight first. If I think BDD knew that Khan was coming down, and was trying to go up towards him instead of down towards where the rest of Samsung was. Like both teams had people in the bot lane,
Yeah.
or bot river. So like maybe that's what he was thinking. But yeah, either way, that was terrible. And then Talia Shen, bot pressure.
It's just all over the map. There's
Yeah.
just no way for Longzhu to respond to the pressure, the global pressure that's
Well,
being
so
put down by
this
the
is,
champions.
this brings up the point with like lane dominant champions, right? Like they picked Varus, right? They picked Lulu, right? Lulu
I'm
Varus
pretty
was
sure.
this game.
I'm pretty sure it was this game.
I'm pretty sure it was
This
this
is
game.
Lulu Varus, yes.
And
Yeah.
and they, that's a lane dominant, bot lane matchup. But how are they supposed to pressure when they're constantly scared of Shen and Talia walking in?
Right. It's like something where like maybe they have the lead and like their team can slowly set up for it, but
Yeah.
as soon as they lose the mid lane skirmish, they lose all control of their bot side jungle, and then
Yeah.
the 4-man collapse bot lane. That's the entire early game. Like
Yeah.
you're not winning after that for like at least 10 minutes.
Right, and they didn't swap out of it or anything. They didn't like. I feel like you might have some options
Right.
there.
You know other teams the best strat against Shen top lane when he hits 6. All right, we're going top lane, guys. Peace. And then they just randomly rotate top lane. Even if they give up the first tower, it's like they're still in the position to pick up Herald or something, you know?
Yeah.
And like just trade sides of pressure so they don't get slammed in another minute. But they thought it would work out. It didn't work out, and then they paid a really big price for it.
And so this is why. What do you think of Crown, Scar? Because you said You didn't like his performance.
Well, I mean, I think in lane he sucked. Like,
Yeah.
just-
Oh,
for
that's
sure,
that's
for
that's
sure.
unarguable.
straight
You
up,
can't argue for him.
BDD just crushes this guy in
Yeah.
lane. In team fights, the guy knows how to play,
Yeah.
and he plays very well within the context of his team.
His Talia walls were
No,
so
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played team fights with like all his champions very well. Yeah, the Talia ulti is
He
carrying this game.
consistently took BDD out of fights entirely with those Talia walls.
Yeah, there was the one at Dragon where like
Yeah.
he shoots it so BDD can't get in the fight.
Yeah.
Josh put it. You said was it like a 10-second stun.
Yeah,
basically?
yeah. Basically, he's just unable to join the fight for the basically the entire duration of the team fight.
Right. And then wait, was that the Dragon where he gets a quadra kill? Yeah, it was. That was like
Yeah.
the big play for him,
Yeah.
where he picks up a quadra kill. They aced them 5-2, and then that's pretty much game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Game 3. anything
Yeah,
else?
this
What-
is like a really one-sided series. After the first game, not much to say.
Yeah. I was thinking, oh, Longzhu, they're trying things out. They blind pick the Jax. That's strategy one. But we'll see them adapt. And
They didn't.
Well, see that. Yeah, I thought that like going into Game 3, like maybe they don't come back and win the whole series, but like,
Yeah.
they should win Game 3. They're on red
Well-
side. They can get the counter pick.
Well,
they
like
can,
their adaptation was like, we're gonna take like a really lane dominant champion that could also roam very early in the draft. So they took Talia first.
Well, they didn't want Crown to get it, and they didn't want to ban it because on red side you don't have as many bans with the Callista and often Janna bans.
Right,
Yeah.
but and then like I just assumed like this is kind of what they're going for. They didn't ban Shen, so it's still like kind of a weird thing. And then the other team takes Lissandra, and you're just like, what happened? Because Lissandra's a champion that should get bullied in lane,
Yeah.
like by longer range threats. This game I was actually really impressed by
Crown.
Crown, yeah.
Now,
Because-
is this just Crown knowing the matchup better in BDD, maybe not knowing the matchup against Alessandra because that's just a champion?
It's
you don't
either or. Like you would have to literally like look at the mid lane the entire time. But it's a situation where he was even CS and Lissandra roamed to pressure a lot this game.
He had teleport. He used it early in lane, but like that's why you take that summoner. So I thought he played it really well, and it shows that like Samsung was thinking a step ahead because they're like, all right, we took the Talia. We shit on them with it. They're not gonna let us get Talia again. What's the counter to Talia that like we like to use?
And
Teleport
it's like
Lissandra.
not even a counter. Like it's like wait, you counterpicked yourself. That's so bad. Like usually what happens is if you're taking that, you don't take a jungler with cleansable CC, and then they took Sedge. So I'm just
Well,
like,
the Talia took cleanse, right?
yes,
Or, yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, well, so mid can't get ganked effectively, but their strategy was they hard put vision down in bot side blue jungle, and then they just wait there, and eventually they catch Cuz. It just takes a long time.
Well, I think that's maybe why Crown couldn't pressure as hard as he wanted to. Is I don't think he got a blue buff for like the first 3 blue buff handoffs.
Exactly. Like they just did a really good job of being able to control that one area, and eventually they're just like, okay, we're gonna slam Shen Lissandra into the bot lane like over and over again. And to be fair for Longzhu, their bot lane tower fell. The first bot lane tower fell at 20 minutes, which I'm just like,
Yeah.
that's fine.
this
That's
was
really
this
good.
was a very slow game overall
They-
compared to some of the other ones.
They did get a good dive or two off though, if I remember. Like the Taric ult came in late. They played around that stuff well.
Yeah, they ended up diving it well, but like they weren't able to secure the bot lane tower to like
Yeah.
20 minutes, which Shen Lissandra with TP and full side bot lane control, you'd expect that to fall around the 10-15 mark.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the blue buff control was actually the biggest thing this game. Just like, I don't know why Crown couldn't pressure BDD couldn't pressure Crown before the blue buffs became a thing, but then after a little while, like, yeah, 2 Lissandra Qs clear away at like level 9, and you can go move around the map.
There's a big team fight mid lane, and then it just so happened that they got cleaned up 4-0.
Yeah,
Longzhu got cleaned up 4-0.
Ruler grabbed a bunch of kills that fight, if I remember. And
That's
basically,
a series.
yeah, Khan gets neutralized completely. I think he still played really well. I was actually still impressed with his Jax game. His Cho'Gath into Shen game, that's a tough matchup for Cho'Gath. He was doing fine in it. And in this game, it was just like, he just never had a chance to do anything.
So I heard domestically that Khan generally, what's his name, Kube does really well against Khan generally.
A lot of people argued that the only reason people thought Khan was the best top laner was because of the finals. And like, before that, a lot of people thought Cube was better.
Yeah. So let's talk about this just overall. With this was the first best of 5. Longzhu comes in to Worlds not having played a basically more than one best of 5 for the entire year. Is that?
Because the way the Korean playoff system works is basically how the NA gauntlet system works. It's a gauntlet thing, and if you get the number 1 seed, you
don't
don't
get to
have to
play.
play
Yeah,
anything
you just
until the
wait.
finals.
Yeah.
And in the finals, the way it worked out was SKT was the 4th or 5th seed and had to play 3 best of 5s before then. So they just sat there watching SKT's drafts, and then they beat them once, in what is admittedly a pretty bad matchup for SKT.
Mm-hmm.
And they win the finals off that. And heading into the final week, it wasn't like these guys were like hands down the best Korean team in the regular season. They had 18 points. Second place, I forget who it was. I think it was KT maybe. They had 15 points. And heading into the final week, either team could end up first. So it was like they clutch it out in the final week, and that basically hands them the LCK trophy.
I was gonna say KT's never gonna clutch.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on.
So like, I'm not saying they didn't deserve to win
Yeah.
summer, but it was like the way the Korean system works is like if you finish first in the regular season, you are so favored in the finals.
Yeah. Well, so I think one of the things though is that because of how dominantly they looked in that last best of 5 series, I think Longsu. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think they were overhyped? But the weird part about like that line of logic, I think, is that in group stages they looked like a good team, you know, and so
Well,
I
yeah.
had some expectations.
What do you think?
I think that they had an easy group, an easier group, an
Yeah.
easier path to go through. So that makes it easy when your opposition isn't of that caliber. You don't have a top tier Chinese team in your group. You have Immortals, Gigabyte Marines, and Fnatic, right?
Yeah.
And if Fnatic's able to turn around, run the table, good for them. It shows the strength or relative strength of that group. So yes, they're gonna look good. I honestly bought into the hype, right?
I bought
Because-
into it.
I
I
100%
bought
did
into
we
it
all?
too.
Did we all
Yeah.
not? But it just seemed like they're the ones that knocked off SKT because the storyline was that it was going to be KT that's going to come in and do it. They have the super team. You have Samsung nipping at their heels, coming off of the World Finals. But if it's Longzhu, LZ, the one that's coming in to do that, you expect, okay, we've been talking about Khan for a while. We've talking about Little Faker BDD for a while. And then you have one of the best bot lanes in the
Yeah.
world, right? It
Yeah.
just seems like
you go through
you
that
got it all
roster-
together.
Yeah, you look at that roster and you're like, wait, all these guys are maybe like top 5 in the world. Oh my god!
people are quoting their players as being the best players in the world, and Cuz.
And
Like,
Cuz- yes.
that was literally the description. And you look at the game, you're like, Cuz played like not bad at all
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah.
Well, so if you look at that series as a whole, who do you normally point to? Is it BDD post laning phase where it's like, okay, that started where the cracks were and then it just fell apart across
I
the
thought
map?
BDD
Yeah.
definitely had a bad series.
Yeah,
A
usually-
bad
He
bad
died
series.
7 times in 2 games when like he had
hadn't
like
died.
he had like 40 maybe total.
He had
in-
4 total throughout the group stage. He had 0 in week 1.
Yeah.
0 decimals.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
dude has an incredible KDA domestically and in group
Like,
stages.
This guy just doesn't randomly die. Like
Yeah.
a lot of the other mid laners get caught because they overextend, but like he's really good at being like deathless. And for him to underperform is really strange because I thought he was the most consistent player on
Yeah.
the team.
And it was off his own mistakes too, not like, oh man, Samsung came in with this game plan and like
No.
ambition hard camp mid. It was like, no, he just like got too aggressive.
Mhm.
And then I think the bot lane too. I would say Gorilla in particular. Prey didn't look great, but Gorilla didn't look good either.
yeah.
Ooh.
Because I feel like throughout all of the analysis that you guys have broken down, we didn't talk about the bot lane that much, especially on the side of Longzhu. We saw Ruler step up to the occasion and have like
he
great
didn't
position.
get caught randomly like in a
Yeah.
bunch of games.
I'll-
Like, oh, okay.
In game 1, I was really worried because Ruler's positioning was not crisp. He got caught out a couple times. He'd get chunked or whatever. It looked a little scary.
Yes, but like in lane they were really good because
Yeah,
they
in
were,
lane, yeah, they were
the
fine.
reason those dives worked is because they were able to get pressure in the
Yep.
2v2 by themselves. The junglers only went down there never for normal ganks, only for dives, if I remember. So like it was basically like they would get lane pressure, Crown and Ambition would go down there and dive the other team.
Yeah. I don't know. Samsung, you say they don't look crisp. I think their team has never looked like 100% crisp. Especially
Yeah.
now, Crown doesn't look great, honestly.
Yeah.
He still like plays well, and this series he played really well. But like he has his moments where you're like, that's not the Crown I thought from last year, where literally
Yeah.
like he picked Victor and you lost. Like you just couldn't win,
Right.
right? And so you're gonna expect those games from them where like someone gets picked randomly, they initiate not that great, but like they scrap out the wins. Like that's how I see it.
Yes.
It's like they just scrap out and then like they come out on top at the end and you're just like, yeah, they won, they did it.
And that's the point, especially when we did when Riot did their series on Crown, resiliency, right? I think that was the thing, that was his tag. And in this series, he's getting bodied in lane pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
But then he made proactive plays. Samsung was the team that went to go win the game.
Yes.
And again, like that's why I was like, I think Crown had yes, he got bodied, but he came back.
He had
and
a
won
good
for it.
series outside lane. I will 100% agree with it. All right,
So
you guys
rip
good?
everyone's pick'ems.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Rip Pick'ems.
You're
This
donezo.
is great for C9 after they clean up WE.
Oh,
It'd be
yeah.
really
Yeah,
easy
yeah.
to,
Ah,
take
get them
advantage
straight
of
to the
Crown.
finals.
Yeah, the crown will not last against Jensen contracts.
Oh,
Son of
God.
Baron, meet baby of Baron contract.
We'll get there. We'll get there, guys. Let's let's.
Yeah, we got tonight first to see.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the actual series, which everyone wants to talk
This
about.
is
Yeah!
this is an amazing series. Now, if
Oh,
anyone
boy.
is listening to this and has not watched this series, go watch it
Stop
right
watching
now.
us. Spend
Mute-
4 hours.
Just watch the.
Four-ish.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how long the series is, but you should go and watch that.
Even
series.
if you just watch,
Because we love watching SKT
No.
murder people.
No,
That's
no, no.
yeah.
you just even
All right,
if you
is-
watch the
is there-
highlights of this
Are
game.
they gone? Has the people left?
Why are you
Because
trying to get people to leave the stream?
oh, I mean, well, because they should. Honestly, the series was amazing, and
Yeah.
I think everyone deserves to watch it.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the
but-
series.
but-
Series
but-
overview.
But it's stay here
Come on,
anyways.
but stay here,
because
yeah.
we're more important.
Twitch
Yeah,
on
just
Discord.
mute us and open a new tab and watch the games instead.
So, diving in? Are we about
Yeah.
to spoil
So,
it?
well, I mean, I think everyone expected SKT to smash. Smash
I think when we said
Misfits,
we were
right?
like, okay, I'll give Misfits one game.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, in my
What'd you say?
pick'ems, I had Misfits as the upset over SKT.
Okay, well,
And-
what were
All right,
you,
so what were you
doing?
smoking
Yeah.
during
Yeah,
time.
you
Really?
got, what are you
And,
doing later tonight? You wanna?
So the thing is, I think that we got to this. My thought process revolved around the growth of Hansama, but more importantly, Power of Evil neutralizing a superstar mid laner. And maybe we are again having that whole Bjergsen conversation of is he overhyped? I don't think he is. I think he is.
Faker?
No, no. I'm talking about
I
over
was
for
gonna be like,
TS
whoa.
against TSM.
Oh,
right,
okay.
we got to see Power of Evil neutralize Bjergsen. Bjergsen did not make big plays. Was he there? Yes. Did he farm? Yes. But he did not make huge plays to win the game for him.
Did TSM make plays?
But it goes around there.
Okay,
So
okay.
his point is Power of Evil neutralize all of TSM.
Oh shit! This
So-
guy's
By
that
existing.
good.
So,
Yeah. Can't
with
make
Power
plays.
of Evil going up against another superstar, world-class, #1 player in the world, mid laner, can he just at least neutralize him? Because we've seen mid laners try to beat Faker, and it's not that. It's about neutralizing him, not letting him roam too much. And when you rewatch and hear the comms when they do the little mic check,
Yeah.
there's so much communication between the whole team in that series that I think that Power of Evil did a good job slowing down Faker to the point where his team could do stuff. Because Alfari's a monster.
Well,
Okay,
yeah,
I'll give you that. I'll give you
Yeah,
that.
because I mean, he did play the Karma mid and stuff that is not gonna win lane, but it's hey, I'm gonna clear your waves.
Like,
And you can't-
And
and you-
Arden
you
Sensei
can't
might
go
eat.
away.
Yeah.
you can't kill me because I'll just empower W on your jungler.
So you can kind of understand how that Misfits came into the series thinking where they're gonna make plays around, and everything was making plays around Ignar and Maxlor. That was their
Yes.
strategy coming in, and they executed very well.
And SKT had a weak early game in group stage, so I think it was conceivable that Misfits steal a game.
Yeah.
I just don't think we weren't ready for how crazy they would go, and then the fact that when they weren't going crazy in the draft, they still actually could
they're still
their
good.
macro could keep up with SKT.
Yeah.
Which is,
I
I,
just
don't think
want-
anyone could have predicted.
I just want to talk about my boy Ignar here. I like.
Game one, you gotta wait.
Oh
you gotta
God.
wait.
Okay, yeah, we'll wait until the end. All right, game one. Let's
game,
talk about it.
Game one. I'm not gonna say Ignar fucked the draft up, but the support pick fucked their entire draft, and
Yeah.
they got smashed so hard by SKT in the draft. They take Taric in the first rotation on red side, and then for their next two picks, SKT take Galio Trundle. So
Yeah.
Galio can go mid or top, Trundle can go top or bot, and you can now make it so that there's literally 0 top picks that will do well in this game with those two picks.
All I'm saying is that once I saw the Galio go out, I'm like, this is not a good. I don't think Galio should be given to a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The champion right now covers so many weaknesses. If you're a bad mid laner and you're against the best mid laner in a tournament, you can look okay.
You can go
playing
down
Galio.
20 CS. It's
Yeah.
fine.
And your team fight impact, you're just gonna be great. So it's I don't think you should be giving Galio to the best mid laner, and I don't think you should be giving Galio
To
to
any.
anyone.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And if you're proactive, Galio's great. You dive the shit out of people. If you're bad, you counter the other team's dives.
Exactly.
He's so good. He's just I will do anything to make these teams closer to even.
Yeah.
This was for me. Okay. Oh, the crazy thing, Trundle support. Right. We would talk more about it, except for Galio. Faker Galio just destroyed this game.
Well, yeah. I think the thing is Trundle support. I don't think it crushed the game. I thought it's just it made it so that there's no good top lane. You literally can't take a good top. If you take a tank, They keep the Trundle top side. He smashes the tank. If you
Yep.
put a carry up there, you flex the Trundle to the bot side. You counterpick the carry.
Yep.
There's nothing you can do.
I think the flexing to the support role was a surprise because like they picked Rumble into it, and then the other person just picked Jace, and Jace Rumble matchup is
Brutal.
Actually, very difficult.
Have fun CSing.
Yeah, so that sucked, and then the Galio stays mid. They take, what was it, Orianna into it or something? Or
Yeah.
Rise.
Rise.
Rise. They took Rise.
Which is like,
It's not.
it's a bad pick.
I don't think it's that bad. You can give your thought. I think it farms well early versus Galio, and
Yeah,
then
you're gonna scale against Galio because Galio's not gonna
The
pressure you.
problem is his actual consistent damage isn't as high as you'd expect. You want something that's able to like just spew out damage, like Ori, Corki,
Cassio was up too. This
are
game.
like champions which like are much better. Rise is okay, but like he actually doesn't have super great late scaling. Late scaling, he's like a mid game monster, and he's great when even or ahead.
Yeah, you want to snowball him
Well,
early.
isn't it conceivable that that's what they wanted out of the Rumble? The Rumble would be the one that's spewing out damage.
Right.
with flame
It
spitters and
is,
stuff
but
like
it's like playing Rumble with Rise seems bad because
Well, you're taking double AP into a Galio as well.
yeah,
So-
and on top of that, both of the lanes are gonna need help. Like even if it was like the Rumble Trundle lane, that lane would need help. And it's like Rise is not as I guess Rise is okay as a pick. You know?
I think specifically Galio Rise isn't that bad, but like in this game, it's just like they just got so fucked.
yeah, that's okay.
Like no mid pick is gonna help their draft here.
Exactly. So okay, let's just talk about it. 5 minutes in the game. Faker roams top at level 5 with Galio. Literally just kills top lane.
Yeah.
And it's a Rumble matchup where if the Rumble dies, you're gonna feed.
And Alfari burned flash on that when he tried to get out of the taunt and was
Yeah.
still in the taunt range.
And then like after that, Maxlor tries to make a play on the top side onto Huni on Jace. Okay, Jace gets Galio ultied. All right, Maxlor dies and uses flash. So literally, they have nothing that they can do, and eventually,
They also took Caitlyn down on the bot side just to cover up any potential weakness that could come in from Trundle. Because
Caitlyn can hard carry the lane, especially against Tristana right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Caitlyn just like shit on the bot lane, and then eventually they put pressure down there. Caitlyn, they couldn't stop anything from SKT, and SKT smashed this game. This is the game where if you watch this game first, you go to sleep. Because you're like, This is the
Like,
3-0.
this is what
Yeah.
I expected.
I think it's just the thing where like Misfits were so focused on counter picks and stuff like that. They're like, let's just pick a support here, blind, and it'll be fine. Like let's just save some counter picks, and then like it's like no, the Taric actually fucked you up so bad.
Yeah.
They're probably just thinking because I think Lulu and Janna were both banned here, right?
Right. So they thought they could take whatever
Yeah.
support they wanted. They wanted to take a support because like later on in the game they start saving their support pick for counter pick.
Right.
Here I think they were saying let's just blind our bot lane this or blind our support this time. That's not our first game plan, and they just got shit on for it.
I think they came in with an idea that this would work. It didn't, but I liked their adaptation.
Yep.
Which
Well, no, I was gonna say this is a perfect segue because we were about to talk about my favorite player of the series.
Yeah.
So
So then Ignar's like, hold on, I'm not playing Taric anymore.
yeah,
fuck
fuck
that.
this shit. Fuck Ardent Sensor. Like I'm gonna do my own thing here, and it's
Yeah.
awesome.
So you want to give us the draft there, Scar?
Next game, they early rotation Sedge, Karma, Trist. And then this is where you're like, oh, Karma could be, a support. And then they last pick Blitzcrank, and you're just like, oh, no, they're serious. Like something, they're mixing it up, And so the other team gets Jarvan, Taric, Cho'Gath, Kog'Maw, Corki. Comp where you're like, okay, it could work. You see some scaling possibilities.
Yeah.
It's all fine. But then essentially Misfits bases the entire game off of let's have Maxor camp Ignar, and Ignar then with Maxor runs around the map doing stuff.
And you're like, okay, that's a fine strategy. And then the first 3 minutes of the game, maybe 4 minutes in, they just kill themselves in the bot lane. It's like level 2.
That was so bad. They 3-man dive bot lane, okay, and then they just get 2 for 1.
They 4-man dive.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
yeah, because they
oh.
TP'd in.
Technically, you're right. It is a 3-man dive that someone's teleporting in.
Yeah.
Just observe it.
Yeah. Oh, that was not a great dive, guys.
Yeah. Oh my god. All right, so 4-man dive bot lane, and the AD comes out 2 for 1, and you're just like, we lost. Like
Yeah,
this is like the opposite of what we needed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a Blitzcrank, right, in this game.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
and that's a feast or famine champion where like if you get behind it's tough, especially in lane.
And I think this is a good example of a game where like SKT were really greedy with their summoners, because when Maxor came back bot lane and ganked again, okay, cool. They hook in, but they can't finish off the kill. They have to retreat, and then Blitzcrank throws a last hook, and Bang just doesn't flash it. He's like, you know what? I'm okay eating this, and he's like, oh.
Wait a
I
sec.
mean, to be fair, Hansama had to go huge in that play to get the kill because they hit the Kog'Maw. He flashes out. Hansama gets his E, and onto him, goes W's in, gets like another auto attack in, ults him away,
yeah.
and then like I think he heals out. Just,
Yeah,
just to get the damage in to kill the.
It was
Kog'Maw.
super close. It was super close.
Yeah.
But not even this situation. After this situation where Ignite goes mid, Faker like doesn't flash fast enough, gets hooked, flashes after, and you're just like, dude, come on, you guys are crazy. This is Faker's worst game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just because I think Ignar plays really well and he gets hit with a ridiculous amount of hooks.
Dude, Faker, I mean, if you guys watch the games, the commentators keep talking about this, but Faker looked tilted out of his mind. He was like, oh my god, skill shot hit me? That motherfucker hit me with a skill shot.
I mean, Digon, what do you think about this game?
I thought that I think it caught SKT for surprise, right? Because it's like, here's a team from Europe. They don't have a lot of adaptation. Maybe they'll throw in some like really, really hard cheese, but this wasn't cheese. This was just a different strategy. And then going to the playmaking supports, right? And again, I think it goes back to Ignar being a player in the LCK for some years and like having that experience against this bot lane, against Faker himself, and just knowing that, putting so much faith in him to make those plays, to land the hooks. Anytime anyone goes away from the meta right now, this Ardent Sense meta, like, I thought that was huge. I thought that was really big.
To be fair, like, their karma covered up the sensor.
That's what I was about to say. Is all their comps aside for the last one still had Ardent Sensor in it somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah,
Thanks
so
to
like,
the Karma
I
mid.
think they still realized the comp required it, but they were able to work their own style into the meta.
Well, the reason that it makes sense is because your strategy is snowball bottom to make your AD carry strong, but you don't want to let the, like, if it doesn't go well and the other team just gets an Ardent Sensor and you don't, you're just fucked. So
Yeah.
you still have the Ardent Sensor coming in this way.
And you pick karma to somewhat neutralize the mid laner because
Yeah.
it's Faker.
So safe.
and I think for the most part, this series is a great example of why Faker is, I don't know if undoubtedly, but one of the best mid laners of all time. Like this is
One of, dude, what? Come on. Undoubtedly.
this is
right up there with William Scarlett, of
Okay.
course, pulled
Yeah,
out
that's
Master
true.
Yi
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
mid lane. Master Yi mid
Okay.
lane. Who would have
Okay.
ever thought of that?
okay. This is a game where I'm like, any other mid laner at Worlds takes mid. I don't think they win this series. Like
Yeah.
Faker played outside of the game too, which was bad, out of his mind. this series.
Even then, he did like a pretty cute play when they were on Baron. Like he packages through them, Valks
Yeah.
out, tries to flash, and like Ignar just hits like a huge.
Nasty flash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was sick.
and so like we'll get into this right now. Like eventually the game gets snowballed by Ignar and Maxwell running around.
Yeah.
Overall, their macro strategy is very good, being able to pressure multiple lanes. Gnar goes bottom. They try to kill Gnar, but they lose top tier 2. And so as the game progresses, like eventually Misfits go for a Baron. Faker with a package tries to stop it. Like cleanses, flashes away, gets hit with a flash hook from Ignar.
Yeah.
He dies, and then this is the stupidest part. Okay, they fully reset. They come back again, and then it's 4v5 with while they're waiting for someone to come back in, and Huni's just like, I gotta go for it. Cho'Gath
yeah.
presses his righteous glory, flashes in, Qs, misses, gets Blitzcrank cooked a screen away from his team, and
Yeah.
just dies.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what?
What were you doing?
Oh!
One thing I didn't talk enough about this in the Blame game that I did was like Huni actually played like pretty booty this series.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
he like even in the last game was one of the only reasons it felt like Misfits might win because he
Yeah.
kept getting picked
Well,
off.
I think the
And
last.
also, he had some very greedy builds, I think, as well. Especially
Well,
on
like
the
yeah,
stream.
building tier from like very far behind. Everyone hates the tier at all, like completely.
I think it's okay.
I think it's fine. Like people are like, you're spending 750 and putting yourself in a hole, and it's like, well, you still power spike hard enough off the first item to allow yourself to go in that hole. Versus like Ezreal, who builds a tier and he's just fucking worthless. Like Jace building a tier is still useful if you
Yeah,
have your first
sure.
item. So like I actually don't hate it as much as some other people do, but I do hate it from behind because like you're just in such a deficit then. But from ahead, I'm like whatever.
So the essentially what happens is Misfits secure Baron. They run down mid. Ignar hits, or they hit a Sedge ulti and Ignar hook mid. Break
Yeah.
that mid hit, go bot. Faker tries to make a package play where he's unstoppable by packaging away. Unfortunately for him, he gets hooked in his package W and still gets brought in, which actually I thought was just a bug.
I thought it was a bug. I think he shorted it. Like he didn't go as far as he wanted or something.
I think
Can you short
you
the
can't
package?
short the
I don't think you
package.
can. I don't think you can.
I think you can a little
Oh,
bit.
maybe a little bit, but like he
I think there's a minimum.
unless he shorts it like this much, like literally, like he gets hooked during the animation and he gets pulled in. I'm just like,
Yeah,
wait.
that was weird. That was really weird.
That was.
Yeah, he packaged forward and just like it stopped right when he got hooked, so it looked like he got pulled out of it.
Yeah, maybe that
so
was
like
it, to be
that's
honest.
maybe yeah.
Which is weird because he made a
Yeah,
lot
you-
of those.
you can't-
plays
you
going
can't
in.
change
the
Yeah,
trigger
like,
buttons,
a,
yeah.
like the L shape kind of thing around Baron. He did that a lot, so it's weird that one time.
Because it looked like he
made a
was like
mistake.
maybe baiting for the blitz hook, but like it didn't work out. Anyways,
maybe he was trying to like package in Valk out and like whatever. Either way, he gets hooked and killed. Bot turret, bot inhibitor goes down.
game's over.
The game's
Ignar,
basically over.
Maxlor, massive. This game's great. Huni killed himself around Baron. All right, cool.
My favorite thing about the series was listening to my roommate, Daydreaming, who was once a one-trick Blitzcrank man, giggled every time.
An LCS finalist.
Yeah,
Daydreaming.
LCS finalist. Oh, dude.
Took TSM to 5 games.
Well known for his Thresh play.
Yes.
Like banned away. Like
Yeah.
that's how good he was.
I just want to let you guys
He
know
is.
the way Daydreaming cackles at Blitzcrank plays is he sounds like the kid from Majora's Mask.
Skull Kid?
Yeah, Skull Kid. He literally laughs just like a,
Yeah.
like super
giggles
high
it.
pitch and like it's very funny. So
Also, he's been streaming a little bit.
oh yeah,
on the
go.
new
Way.
Yeah, he switches between melee. There's no camera or
Yeah, I'm
mic,
not-
but you know you can be there in spirit with
It's
him.
actually just Mark.
Yeah. Guys, watch me, please. Anyways,
Game
that,
3.
that goes to game 3, where I think this time SKT just fucked up their draft really bad. With the Vayne pick.
Ivern.
Yeah, okay. This was crazy with the
Leona
Ivern.
Ivern.
But also, I don't. There's a part of me thinks that there is no situation where Vayne is ever viable. But I understand where in the current meta Vayne's not very good. But there's only 2 situations ever in terms of history where you ever pick Vayne. It's against an Ezreal AD, right? Or it's against a Sivir. Usually those are the 2. Even Piglet's
I
like.
was gonna say when every other AD is actually banned.
Okay, well, or in that situation, or if like they have such a
The Uzi game?
they have such a terrible support that your support can overpower theirs.
Yeah.
Then in those situations you pick Vayne. And in this situation it's like, well, they got like, 2 ADs banned out, and like the other team picked Trist, and so I'm gonna pick Vayne, and I'm just like, what? That's not.
Well, he had seen the Leona, and people always talk about the E on Leona getting knocked back.
It's
but like
so
it's
hard.
actually really hard to do because
Yep.
if you do it too early, the blade hits you, you E her back, and then she still moves
Yeah.
forward. So like it's a much more complicated interaction than just like E her when she walks forward like an Alistar headbutt. It's actually way harder to do on Leona.
So who'd
Yeah.
you want to see there instead? Like a Varus, I guess.
yeah.
I would have been down for Varus. That
Like-
sounds great.
Like Lulu Varus sounds like it poops on that lane.
Yeah, and it does. Like the
This,
thing,
this lane poops on that lane.
yeah.
They should win. They just took a crazy ass all in level 1 when they could just hit their level 2 first and push it in.
Win-wins, baby.
Yeah, he's chasing this, what was it, the Tristana down, auto attacking as this Leona just sits on his face and probably does about 5 auto attacks on full stack Fervor.
Yeah, so the fervor pays off for Leona. Eventually, they get 2 for 0 at level 1.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you're like, oh no.
You're
It
with
was,
the
like,
Vayne.
it was like, this is how this game goes horribly wrong, is you somehow let the Leona get kills instead of just pressuring the lane.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, well, especially when they do level 1, they both invade Ivern and push him off. And Maxwell actually, like, somehow still gets the red buff. So he salvaged a level 1 that could have been terrible for him. But in theory, what happens is once this Ivern's out of the game, if your bot lane's out of the game, Ivern's just, like, not doing anything for 6 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, the mid was what again? It was versus...
Talia versus Oriana.
Yes.
yeah, so like...
Talia on Faker.
Yeah. I mean, you should ideally have the push advantage. So if your bot lane's just gonna get under their
Oh,
turret, like,
another
it's pretty easy
good
to die
another
Leona.
good AD was like maybe you want Sivir into Trist. I can understand not wanting Sivir into like Jarvan or Ori, but for the most part, that's been a notorious matchup into Trist as well.
Yeah, that's one that EU plays a lot.
Hard shoving matchup with Lulu as well.
You saw it game 5.
You saw Reckless play.
Reckless.
Sorry, Reckless play, and it like destroyed the Chinese team. So it's a possibility. I just don't really like Vayne in any situation that wasn't what I said before.
Yeah.
So this goes horribly wrong. Bot starts getting shit on. The Ivern starts going down there. They just completely blow up the bot lane.
Yeah, and bot lane starts this game with like 4 kills, and the thing is, Huni's actually up like 30 CS top lane. He's
Yep,
doing
he's
pretty
doing
well.
well.
And God,
And then
this pisses me off so much. Okay, so of course,
Bot turret gets broken.
Ivern goes down,
Yeah.
breaks bot turret. What does the bot lane do as soon as you break bot turret? You have 2 lanes to go to, mid or top. Usually mid's hard because mid has the most wave clear in the game. So you're not guaranteed mid. Also, the most random gank pass. You can't cover every route for mid lane with ganks, right? And there's so many TP flank possibilities. So you go top lane. Jace is sitting in the bush top lane, waiting for the enemy top lane to come back, and then Leona just loops on him and kills him.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and dies again.
Yeah.
And then he just like chain dies this game to the point where like even though SKT's somewhat getting kills here and there, I think Faker picks up quite a decent amount of kills this game,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
It's still a situation where the gold lead is like completely in Misfits' favor despite some kills.
Yeah. I mean, Huhi basically, in that sequence where bot lane is, or Leona's top side, he basically does his best Hashinshin impression, where he loses his summoners, comes back up,
Did you hear
immediately
him,
dies again.
Did you hear him flaming his team though in the bot lane for feeding?
Yeah, maybe Huni doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Hold my
Or
beer.
Huni.
And there goes Huni up in the top.
Sorry, I said Huni.
They knew he was there too, so that was another one where the comms, they had the comms and they're like,
Right.
hey, he's here, we're gonna engage
I mean,
him.
and you're looking at this game, and it's pretty much just me watching Faker like try to salvage his team situation. He's getting huge amounts of damage with Talia out, like at a long range. Even like Baron dances, he gets a lot of poke off. They have to fall off Baron dance. Even after getting a pick, even after getting Baron bot lane, he gets a pick on PoE, and then they stop the push. But like for the most part, this game is just like out of control. He
Yeah.
can't do anything. Very end, they lose 2 inhibs mid. Faker tries to flash play on the AD carry or on the mid laner, misses and dies, and the game's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's tough because there was that big conversation about, are they going to bring Antara in the top side just in case Huni starts exploding?
Oh.
And, I'm sure maybe to a weaker person, it might have like slipped into his mind and been like, uh-oh, like the pressure's on,
But for
Karma's
me,
down.
I look at this, I'm like, yes, he threw his lead. But what was their bot lane doing giving up double kill level 1?
Yeah. This like Hansama was so big. He was at like 2 items at 13 minutes.
Yeah, it
I'm
was
pretty sure he had
disgusting.
2 items at 13
And
minutes. And
so-
that's swapping up into your top side when you're like a power spiking Jace. You're like, what the
This is
What
like
am
solo
I
queue.
doing
It's like,
with
don't
this?
bring your
Whoa.
suck up here, dude.
Yeah,
like,
what
this
is this
bad.
doing in my lane? Like, that's
Yeah.
disgusting.
So I do blame Huni for not being able to transition that lead, but I blame their bot lane way more because they just sucked.
yeah.
Mhm.
Prey or just praying.
Although I
Wolf,
remember,
Wolf
I think
Bang.
Bang and Wolf.
this game kind of extended for a little while though. I feel like it went longer than it probably should have.
So they missed a couple Leona engages, and that's when Faker was able to like clean up a couple kills.
Yeah.
And then they didn't do a good job getting their vision in the jungle too deep. It was like ramp wards,
Yeah.
so that you could see them
They,
contesting your bear.
they kept retrying Baron and then getting pushed off because
Yeah.
it's not that easy to just do Baron in front of Talia. And so,
Yeah, they kept walling off like a member of them, so that the damage would drop. Like they'd wall off the Ori or whatever. So it was tough. Also, there was that one fight where I was gonna lose my goddamn mind. Power of Evil has his stupid Orianna build.
Yeah. Get those autos off, baby.
The autos don't matter at all.
Hit him with the one.
He hits a 3-man shockwave dissonance combo, and everyone lives with like 10% HP.
Yeah. Imagine if that was a
And,
real.
man,
item.
imagine if you had 20 more AP with double flat pen against these like no MR targets. Like,
Interesting.
mm.
But think about it. He has the autos
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
so he can auto
Whittle him
Jace
down.
down whenever he
Yeah.
comes into auto range.
Yeah.
Which is once the entire game. The thing is, like, that build makes sense if you're against 3 melee threats and you need to do damage, like a shitload of damage. 3 tanky threats.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't want you to build that from ahead.
Okay, but I could see a situation where the build makes sense against melee threats that run at you. You're kiting back, and you can auto them a lot.
But
Guys,
the thing,
because Nasher, guys, that's why the build.
Oh, help rush the Baron.
Help rush the
Alright.
Baron.
so
Yeah,
people always talk
that's
about the objective control with it, and it's like that's great, but that's not why you pick Ori. If you want like a high single target DPS,
Cassiopeia,
yeah,
rise.
just learn Cassio.
Yeah.
Just play Cassio.
But you know what? They won the game. So
They won the
obviously-
game. I like, and like I tweeted, I said this. I would much prefer someone who like situationally has a suboptimal build who can perform on the world stage over what we usually see out of most mids from the West.
Which is like they just flunked.
Yeah, they just fail.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, whatever. This game's done.
Rip Turks.
Faker tried a little bit, and then,
Alright.
but honestly, SKT's bot lane just shit the bed.
Yeah.
Cool.
Horribly should the best.
Next game. This is the game where Misfits can make history.
Oh man,
They
yeah.
should have made
oh.
history.
They should have made
Oh
history.
god, SKT backs against the wall. I thought for sure Misfits. I thought this game basically hinged
Oh.
the entire series on because
And I remember before this series, people were.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. Keep going.
Okay, I was gonna say I remember before this series, people were telling me how bad Rise was. Whenever people tell me Rise is a bad champion, I'm just like, no, people just suck at playing him, or they play him into like weird comps. This is a great example of a like. This is how Rise should be played. So, but maybe
Thanks,
you need,
Faker, for showing us this.
maybe you need to be Faker to play Rise at this level, which you do. But like his Rise is actually like the most disgusting.
So
Rise
many
I've
like
ever
little
seen.
things in this game, like
save?
Yeah, the
Oh my
utility
God.
to save. The fight where the dive goes bad is actually because he gets a bounce off a tank to do 600 damage to Hansama to insta give him. Like,
Yeah.
there's all these like little things that he does super well. that other people just don't do.
Yeah, and he's just so good. All right, let's not go too crazy. on
Wow.
So the
Faker.
draft. So the draft once again. Karma mid coming out.
Misfits take Sivir, which is like a strategy you could play into Tristana if it's possible. Like you said, very European style.
Yeah, and they also take Alistar, which is why they have the Karma mid, because they want playmaking for Ignar,
Yep.
who still has a monster game, by the way. Like, on this
Yeah.
pick, goes off, basically wins them the game at a couple points.
Basically.
Wins them the game before
Ooh.
also helping them throw the game. But the Braum counter pick was also huge, because they take the Alistar, and SKT started saving their last picks for support because they realized they were getting fucked at support.
But anyways, this game starts. Blank is a level 2 mid lane from the opposite side. Rise flash W's, and then PoE plays this.
I remember tweeting about this. With
This-
I
Mark.
tweeted the same thing.
I literally at the same minute.
Where else did I see a cleanseless mid laner versus a Rise J4? That was on red side, and it was a very important team to me for some reason.
BDSM? BDSM?
Oh
I mean,
my
they
God.
were really
not
tied down the
affiliated.
entire game.
They got whipped pretty bad.
Yeah.
But this is a great example of what happens when you take Rise and you have like an early pressure jungler. This is like, to be honest, PoE played this really poorly because he should have known that like with the vision he was given, because Jarvan didn't immediately show up, he didn't need to flash it early, so you could have traded flash for flash. It's a situation where it's very hard to figure out. But PoE could have played this better and not died. But
It's hard.
yeah, SKT set this up perfectly. Get the kill mid lane, and Rise is off to a great start.
And so Rise off to a good start. Karma's one of those champions though that doesn't get blown out of the laning phase, teleports back in. Sucks he's down farm. Sucks he can't really pressure anymore, but like it just leads to a neutral laning phase.
Yeah.
If I remember, the bot lane was still going fine, and
The-
top the Cho'Gath was doing well as well.
I mean, bot lane was just losing. Like Wolf and Bane lost again. Like Alistar all in them, and he used Ignite to get heal and Braum flash, and then just got pressured the entire lane phase. And you're just like, well, you think those summoners don't matter that much, but when you're setting up the entire early game, you should kind of think of it as a setup to break bottom tower, because that's what happens in 90% of the games.
Yeah.
So if you're down some bot lane, you're gonna get your ass dove, and it's gonna be painful.
If I remember though, didn't they swap up to the top side this game?
Yes, and that was super smart. Misfits does the thing where like a lot of people, the like Shen counter, which is they just swap their bot lane top lane.
Yeah.
They break top lane tower early, and they get first tower off that.
Yeah, they get first turret. I think it was a useless Drake this game. It was like a Cloud or something.
Yeah,
so,
Cloud Drake was first, and then Ocean, I think.
Yeah, so or maybe it was Infernal
No,
actually.
it was Infernal.
Wait, I remember this.
Oh wait, was this the triple? No,
No, that was
game 5.
That was game
Yeah,
5.
yeah.
But in this game, what was weird was they had an invade where they heavily chunk out both Faker and whatever his name is. I'm pretty sure Alfari TP'd in, and like there's no contest on Infernal. They just didn't even go for Infernal, and they just reset and took the top turret play. And this was one where I was like, I think they could have taken Infernal first.
Yeah, usually the top switch is fine if you're giving up Dragon priority, but if it's Infernal, I would think again. It's something where like you would only do if your bot lane's losing. Like if I was SKT and did this, I'd be like, okay, I can see why. You're
Well,
desperate.
So I think I understand why they did it, because they just made a play on the bot side. They were up tempo, but if they stayed bottom, eventually Shen's TP is going to come up first, and then they can get like collapsed on. So they just jump all that. They're like, fuck it, let's not even risk it with this tempo. Let's go top and get first turret, which like I think is like okay, but it still feels bad to just not try and get the Infernal Dragon first, because it might have mattered later. in
Yeah,
the
it
game.
was an Infernal Mountain
Yeah.
Cloud.
Yeah.
I mean, the game ends up happening where it's just there's a bunch of silent pressure in this game.
A lot of collapses to mid lane.
A lot of TP flanks. Like
Yeah.
literally, Bane's pushing up, gets TP flanked by Alfari. All right, he dies. All right, 2 minutes later, who need TP flanks the other team? All right, they die, and then eventually Braum gets caught going for a ward. Faker tries to save him. Faker dies in response in bot side jungle, and slowly but surely Misfits is getting towers and like a small kill lead over time.
And like once again, Ignar has some crazy plays where like his team gets pushed to their mid inner turret, and he wraps around the left side all the way from his mid inner turret to the enemy team's mid inner turret. There's no wars. He just runs straight behind the turret and gets a flank off and helps them dive that turret and break that one too. So like Ignar is a monster.
But this bot lane just kept Misfits into it so many times just by, again, doing their job, and not even just doing their job, but winning the lane. Like, getting themselves out of lane against, again,
and you want to
best
say
bot lane in the
this,
world.
and the entire game, you're looking at Faker, and you're like, wow, this guy's playing like a monster. He's,
Oh, yeah.
He's single-handedly keeping his team in the game, not only wave clear-wise, he's 50 CS up on the mid laner, he's saving his teammates left and right, or trying to, and he's putting a lot of pressure on the map. And you're just, and finally, like, He gets picked, and then a little bit after Misfits rushes Baron, and then Huni TP's in. And the fight looks okay, but Huni just TP's in, suicides.
Mm-hmm.
The Huni.
The Huni. And then,
To be fair, that was his only death of the game.
yes.
Yeah.
And then what happens is eventually Blank gets picked off as they're in mid lane. Blank gets picked off. He EQs and gets interrupted by Ali combo.
Yep.
Super good play by Ignar, right?
Yep.
Fantastic. It's 4v5. They run down the mid lane with no creep wave, and they dive Huni, and the game just gets flipped on. If you slow-mo this dive, Huni lives with 1 bar of HP.
He gets feasted, gets out of CC, gets his ult off.
Yes. But like even with this play, this was still not a smart play. If you're missing Blank in the siege, the other team is fucked. They actually can't hold this. So
They could have slow played it. I'm not even mad that they ran up to the turret and started autoing it with like karma shields on them. That's fine. It was just the dive was.
the dive was really bad. Faker played it really well. Like you said, bounces off, kills Han Sama, gets the ulti.
Wolf played it well too. The Braum got an exhaust onto the Sivir as well as like getting his shield up, so he stopped a ton of damage.
Saves Huni.
There's not much damage on the side of Misfits once like your Sivir's
Yep.
immobilized and run. Refresh, let everyone know. Let the chat
Refresh,
know.
watch another ad.
Everyone know to refresh.
RNG bless. Thanks, Abuelita.
This is the only greatest league talk show we'll ever do.
Yeah, sorry.
From
we're,
here.
we're in the middle of
From
nowhere in
Abuelita.
TwitchCon.
We're in an unspecified government location.
Anyways, welcome back. There's nothing to talk about Game 4. They got Ace and Elder. This game's
Boom,
over.
game over.
Yeah, their comp just loses late. They only have one real carry.
Game 5. This is it. Silver Scrapes. Oh, it's gonna be high.
Hey.
At this point, you're really sad because Misfits threw probably a game-winning, definitely threw a game-winning opportunity. They should have won that game.
Yeah, they take that kill on Blank. They take the mid inhibitor. They reset, get the next Baron or something. Because like
The Baron's up, so like they could have like went for Baron. They could have like just they had a lot of options.
yeah, it's tough.
Okay. Anyways, last game where SKT picks Kench to try to counter pick.
Everything,
Yeah.
literally everything on their side. Syndra, Tahm Kench, Shen.
Yep. Unfortunately for that, Kench is not that great in lane. So
But the other team's not playing an Ardent support either. They're playing
Thresh.
So this is actually a fine matchup. You actually trade decently well versus Thresh.
I was a little bit worried because usually Misfits had started banning Jace after the first game, I think. And then this is where they got Jace again, and I was like, okay, well, what's Huni gonna show? And this is a game where I thought up until halfway through, like I would say going to the late game,
He was playing great.
he was playing so well.
Yeah.
He had a CS lead. He was rotating mid to get tower, rotating bottom to get tower. Tier
Broke
2.
his first turret with the help of Faker too.
Yes,
Yep.
super well played by Huni this game, and then he just starts dying. It's like the Syndrome's bot, he dies. He goes top lane. The Syndrome's top lane, he dies. He just starts like feeding, and then I don't want to go too far ahead of myself though. But this is a situation where let's start at the very beginning. Jay,
They do the red side invade that you do with Jace. So if or not red jungle invade. Your blue side with Jace plus another jungler.
Yeah.
You run in to stop their red buff because no one can fight Jace level 1 with his 2 Q spells as well as ranged auto attacks and
Yep.
passives from changing forms. Pretty fucking ridiculous. And then what Maxlore does is even stupider because after like kind of conceding red buff, they get level 2 on Jarvan, and he goes in and he's basically
He tries-
melee range contesting the red buff.
He basically gambled it all, right? Because as soon as
Yeah.
Jarvan gets if Jarvan gets the smite, he gets level 2, he gets EQ and red buff. Yeah, good luck, dude.
Okay, and the Jace as
I
well.
mean,
Yeah, and the Jace
I
is
think
there.
Alfari went in with him, and Alfari was the one who died, and you're just like,
Oh, it was all far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the contest was just horrible.
Yeah.
It was, and I thought for sure like this is the end of Misfits.
I
Me too.
thought yeah.
How many times have we seen a team like lose at a level 1 play, a level 1
right.
invade?
And like the Faker follow up to this play was great. Like at 7 minutes, Faker goes up with Talia, ends up blowing top lane flash. Then eventually, I think
he keeps doing
yeah,
roams.
Blank and him go back up there. They secure top side really well. And the thing about Kench is, oh god, sorry, my voice is cracking.
The reason this sucked for Misfits was because their jungler playmaker
Sorry.
it gets shut down. Their support is in a bad matchup, and their top side's losing.
And the thing about Kench is similar to Morgana. It's not a champion that should win you lane by like being super aggressive. You know, it's a champion which punishes poor mistakes by the enemy team and neutralizes bot lane aggression.
So yeah, Ignar's neutralized. Max Lore set behind, top in a losing matchup. Like it felt like there's no hope for Misfits. I thought game was done 2 minutes in.
Yeah, but what ends up happening is Misfits actually picks up a couple kills here and there. But still, there are a lot of gold behind because SKT plays this out great. Huni plays this out great. 16 minutes, rotates mid, gets his tower, goes top. Bot lane tier 2 gets the tower by himself, pressuring super well, and then like I said, just dies to Syndra.
Yeah, Syndra just keeps roaming down bottom and just kills him over and over.
SKT can't force Baron because the enemy team has Shen.
Yep.
That, and then also I don't know why SKT's Dragon Control was so bad. Like,
yeah, they gave away 3 Infernals.
They gave away 3 Infernals. 2 of them, I don't know why. One, I understood because it was the one where Jace gets picked off right before, and they're like, all right, well, you guys can have that.
Yeah.
But some of the other ones, I was like, I think SKT can contest these. So that was really weird to see them lose that many. And it was a situation where, with the fact that Huni starts dying, Misfits actually starts crawling back in the game, and gold ends up getting really close, like 1,000 or 2 at most. And like their team fight's not bad, and you're like, hold on.
Maybe they could do this. Maybe
could
they could do this.
And then what happens is they 50-50 a Baron? Or Elder?
No, so
Elder.
They could have 50-50 to Baron, and they turned off instead. Don't take that 50-50, and then they end up doing a 50-50 on the Infernal after they pick off Huni, so it's a 4v5 that they're forcing.
Yeah.
But rather than trying to turn off this time, they actually go for the force. Someone else steals it. Huni respawns.
Blank goes in big and steals it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Huni flank TPs and makes like his hero play.
Yeah,
which
then just destroys.
people are gonna remember this moment.
Assassin Jace.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he one hits the Syndra and like I think kills Hansama too.
Yeah. He kills both backline carries and flashes out and lives.
And then this game's just over.
Yeah,
but like
it instantly dies.
don't let this distract you from like generally his bad play throughout the series.
Yeah. So I would say that this was the greatest series by a Western team versus a Korean team.
That's what
a world.
That's
or like
what
even anywhere really.
LS said on Twitter after he watched the games. He's like, "This is the best, the closest Western series ever,
Yeah.
or the best Western series."
what's the second closest then, if we can? Think
you
of
would
it?
say like Fnatic into Royal was,
Fnatic into SKT in 2014 MSI.
but they were trolling. Like actually.
Yeah, I don't think they cared, and they never
What
Like-
about Gambit? Do you guys consider them?
Oh, I mean, I get if you want Gambit versus TPA,
I
when
would
Stanley like
yeah.
just like pick Nidalee and they were just like, oh, Nidalee top is broken.
Yeah. So I would say like there's been times way in the past where like teams have beaten Koreans and stuff like that, but never in best of 5.
Yeah.
And
That's why I was asking, because you can always think of those solo games. but as a
there's
series.
like the random fucking like IEM like Poopville where like
yeah.
TSM beats like some
Yeah,
random
TSM
team.
won.
Yeah.
That-
TSM didn't beat Rocks. WE beat Rocks.
Yeah, TSMWE.
Yeah, then TSM beat the worst Chinese team because somehow Rocks lost to them. But like there's like the ones where like Challenger or like literally like the 10th place LCK team plays in an IEM, and those teams have lost.
Yeah.
But like that doesn't matter. So like in terms of like games that really mattered, this is probably the best the West has ever looked, and it's because they didn't just use cheesy shit. Like late game, they were like out macroing SKT at points.
So I think a lot of that you have to give props to not only their players but also their management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So overall, Misfits does something which is really, really, really good, and what a lot of Asian teams do, which is their adaptation over like the course of the weeks is very solid. So like the Misfits going into Worlds, I thought they sucked. They did suck. Let's be real. And then after week 1, you're still like.
Well, week 2, you're like, wait, these guys definitely have something.
Week 1, you're like, okay, they're okay.
Yeah, they were 2-1.
Yeah,
They were 2-1 in
and
the
then
group,
week
tied with
2, you're
everyone
like,
else.
that's really not bad. You know, they got through this, not bad. And as the series progresses, they adapt really well.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this in the last episode, just about Misfits, is that they just always come in with what it feels like a solid game plan, and they've crafted this thing for the best of 5 with the Karma mid using Ardent Sensor with playmaking support. Like that's a well thought out thing, and they executed on it.
And I think it's really smart too because it shows they know their opponents. Like when SKT has looked very vulnerable, it's usually like Wolf. Like if you think back to the Rock series, the MF counter pick that comes in shits on SKT's bot lane twice, and like that's where they found their victories. And it feels like you can see where Misfits staff comes up with these ideas with their players to like be like, we can do this stuff.
And it's not like they're meta breaking. That's the most important thing. Is like people think like they're playing stuff out of the meta.
This
not-
isn't Gigabyte Marines level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not.
No.
They're playing.
Nocturne.
This is like an alternate tactic. It's
Right.
not cheese. It's not trying to. There's one win condition, and we're hoping to catch you off guard while we try to.
They're
execute
playing
that.
within the meta with their style. So like a good example is like still where did most of their ganks go? Bot lane, because everyone fucking breaks bot lane tower first this
Right.
meta.
Right.
The meta's around bot lane dives for the most part with like
Hitting Ardent Sensor.
hitting Ardent Sensor. They all did that.
Yeah.
But they did it mainly in their way.
Yeah.
I think you can call like if you want to call the Leona pick cheese, sure. In
Yeah.
a sense, like it probably wouldn't work
I would say
twice.
the Vayne pick was cheese. How did they force the other team?
Yeah,
to
it's
pick
like
Vayne?
lose their mind. I don't know.
like what?
Yeah, so like I agree in some sense. Like yeah, the Leona pick's like a little cheesy. Fervor Leona. Who knows what they're doing against that? But like, okay, what about game 4 and 5 where they had like good potential to beat SKT in pretty standard comps?
And the Fervor Leona is like a portion. Like it wasn't like this strategy is cheese. We're gonna take away our top laner and help him get help Nocturne get level 6 super early. That was
Yeah.
like a whole team strategy. This was like a gamble on one portion, on one role, and it didn't change how like the whole team was going to play around this pick.
Right. I mean, like Leona is a support engaged champion, and they picked a support engaged. It's not like they invented a new champion,
Yeah.
or like,
Mhm.
or they put Leona atop with like blood, like I don't know, Triforce.
All right, closing thoughts on this series. What do you guys think?
I want to know your thoughts on which player is the one to pick here for Misfits, because like you know, for me it's Maxlor, because
Oh,
they
yeah.
came in with Kakao, right? Misfits last split believe had Kakao, and when they picked up Maxlor, I was like, you're getting this dude who was on like
Challenger team.
Rocket, Giants, you know, all these like unfortunately not as good teams in the EU, and he's going to be the one to step up. And looking at him in the post-game interviews, hearing the comms afterwards, this is a guy that was, I think, filled the void that they would lack if they had Kakao in the future. Kakao, great player, created plays, but he had the mentality of being a leader for the team. So yes, Power of Evil, I love him. Ignar making huge plays, innovating the bot lane. Hansami, you saw his growth. Alfari, everyone was raving about how quickly he was, how quickly he got to Challenger once he moved to Korea, but the glue that brought them all together, to me, was Maxlor. Your thoughts on any of the other guys?
What about you guys?
I would probably still take Ignar.
I'm in love with Ignar. What can I say? I think that Blitzcrank game was like one of those games where like the execution in such a high pressure environment there was like outstanding. He brought these weird picks and I think just the level of execution he had on these weird picks was amazing. And-
Games 2 through 4 out of Ignar were like super god tier.
Yeah.
I think Maxlor is super good too. I think Alfari didn't get enough credit in the series.
Oh,
Like,
he is so important.
he,
Yeah.
he like in game 4 he had like a 30 CS lead over the Shen with the Cho'Gath or the Trundle with the Cho'Gath. So like he was winning some tough matchups. So I think he's super critical.
That
too.
was one of the main reasons why I had Misfits winning, because I was like, if Huni explodes, you have one of the best top laners to go against him and exploit that. Just throwing that one out there. But I still think Maxlor is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Scar, you?
I was gonna go with Maxlor originally too. I think that I agree with you guys. Alfari is super underrated. I think he's the most solid player on their team in terms of like consistency, because he always brings exactly what you expect. Above average, probably beats the enemy top laner in terms of impact every game. But in terms of, I thought Maxlor was a large reason why they did super well in all of their games. Because everything in the entire series is just pretty much Maxlor Ignar. So I would say Ignar outperformed in I would say 2 or 3 of the games, and Maxlor did well, like pretty much played towards their team's win condition in all 5.
Right, I think you could say like Ignar was pretty invisible game 5.
Yeah.
Somewhat due to like the picks he was
Yeah.
playing against, but
I mean, and to be fair, Maxlor also screwed up real bad instead
Yeah.
trying to
yeah.
contest the ring.
I completely agree with you. Maybe I would say Ignar is also really good. I think it'd be a coin flip for me between the two. They both played the series really well and really well together.
So now on the flip side, looking for SKT moving forward, this seems like a team that got through by the skin of their teeth. Is that because
so
Misfits
here's-
were that good, or is SKT gonna be able
I
to
think
shore
it's
this up?
so. Here's,
Huni's still the only option.
I think that SKT is the weakest we've ever seen them at Worlds. So like I would take 2013, 2015, 2016 SKT.
I mean, the
over this
stats
one.
show it, right? Like,
I'll take all
if you-
these
if
other
you-
versions.
Yeah.
If you look at the stats from
man do,
SKT,
baby?
like how many times did they actually lose at all?
Yeah, so I think hands down this is the weakest SKT has ever looked. But what I will say is they're a team that learns from their mistakes quickly.
Yeah.
So like them getting exposed in the quarterfinals is like the best thing that could have happened to this team. If they rolled over them and then like ran into RNG, I would be more scared than if in some sense I'd be more scared than this series happening because it wasn't like they looked like shit. And Misfits just looked really good, and
Yeah.
like SKT has clear areas to improve.
Wow, what a statement! It wasn't that SKT played really badly; it's that Misfits played really well. That's all you should really take away from this series. Is like, no, Misfits were like monsters this series.
Really,
Yeah.
really good.
I think in terms of who to look at though, I'd be worried about their bot lane. Bot lane Huni. I actually this series cemented like, is Faker losing it, dude? No, he's not losing it, dude.
I'm actually concerned just generally over SKT. They honestly just look like TSM Plus, where they have these players, but they don't
If
really.
Bjergsen was fake or Faker, I would be happy, dude. What the
Yeah,
heck?
no, for sure. But what I'm saying though is that they feel like they've never been the person to put the front foot forward. It's always like, yeah, you know, they're 3K behind, but they'll claw
Well,
themselves back,
I think
or sometimes they'll slip to 10K.
Well, I
deficit.
think this series showed them trying to fix those problems. Like game 1, they had a really smart draft that got them basically 3 winning lanes. Games 2 and 4, or is it 3 and 5? They did those Jason Vades on the top side.
Yeah, it's really
one
good.
didn't work versus the Ivern, but they still like are making really like proactive plays. Much more than I would ever say,
Yeah,
because they're obviously horrible early game. But I do think like
good joke.
you see SKT like understanding like we need to be more proactive. We need to do these things. Let's start working on this stuff. And that's why I think like when you have a tough series versus Misfits, they will learn so much from this.
With that being said, I think I'd be scared if Faker has a bad series because he is like the glue.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know if I've seen Faker have a bad best of 5. He maybe has like
bad game.
yeah, he maybe has like
really
a bad game or bad 2 games in the series, but like he's usually like killing it.
People in chat are like, how dare you compare SKT to TSM? People are like, Giselle's retarded. Fuck you.
That move was not sponsored by her.
Oh yeah, that was not sponsored.
As a middle finger straight from the Acer. No.
Anyways, we're pretty much done, right? We finished the closing statements. Do you guys want to talk about the next 2 series? Or do you?
Briefly. can do it
RNG,
briefly.
WE.
No apple pie.
All right.
This is
Dion.
the best draw that Cloud9 could have
Di-
done.
I
Let's
agree.
go.
Do we
Dion, let's
agree?
go.
I think it's close.
Dion, let's go. What do you got?
I really believe that Jensen is going to overpower an underperforming GA, and then it's going to be a very SKT-like, SKT-like performance where it's going to
Jason
hinge
Galio.
on Jensen. And from what we saw from NALCS MVP, counter to my MVP, vote Jensen. Jensen is not afraid to make the plays and will make the plays even if
Damn, that's some
people are
shots
behind.
at Bjergsen.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
No, it's
I'm
okay.
just
I'll
saying.
take those shots with you. Let's,
I'm just
like,
saying.
let me
Jensen,
let me
I
grab
think
one of
Jensen-
these.
Yeah,
Bow,
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 bow.
bow, bow. That's right. Shoot from the hip.
No,
But
I agree. I think Jensen, like, as much as you want to say, like, one-dimensional playstyle for C9, it's like, yeah, they're pretty fucking good at it.
Yeah, they're really good.
I would love to be like. A lot of people think one-dimensional stuff is bad, but like
If it works,
yeah, if they can't beat your one dimension, who cares? Like, actually, who cares? So, what are they good at? Mid jungle synergy.
Yep.
Playing off Jensen. Well, they're almost world class at being able to do that. So,
And that's what the other part I wanted to highlight was the growth, like what we saw out of Hansama, and we saw his growth and his maturity throughout the playoffs. We've got to see that from contracts at play-ins, then in group stages, and now I believe he's going to be able to give it a great shot.
all right. What about the other series? RNG versus
RNG versus Fnatic, like your heart goes out to Fnatic. You think that they are riding the wave and they hit what could have been rock bottom, the absolute worst of Reckless's career. And again, I am a big fan of resiliency, right? When you make the poor play, when you're getting bodied, when you jump forward into the team, flash forward, and then die and lose the game that was super winnable against Immortals and possibly go 0-3, and come back and show that you can do that, because everyone knows you're world class. That's why you're at Worlds. I think that mindset and mentality gives you an edge. However, I think Uzi's a god, and like, you know, it's
okay.
gonna
I was gonna say like that went really long for you to be like,
Yeah,
Uzi's really good.
I was gonna be like, yeah, Uzi is also pretty resilient. He's been to 2 world finals.
with sometimes not very great rosters.
Yeah,
Where
like-
he's playing with like a couple words, you know.
Yeah, they're
yeah.
like, hey, I can put a shield on you. Do you want that?
That sounds
Do you guys
great.
want to run
Ardent sensors?
Ori Lulu every game with Twitch?
How long can Caps keep not overperforming but stepping up? right? Because Xiaohu's
Pretty good.
pretty good. He's
Yeah.
very, very
Well,
good.
with the RNG Fnatic thing, you're looking to see if Fnatic can step up the same way Misfits stepped up, right? And that's the only way this series even looks close.
I think if Broxah has a good series, you have you have a good series.
Roxa and Soaz, I think. Too.
Yeah, no, I think Broxah is really like I don't know what he looks like if he's like consistently off Rek'Sai, and if he is, we'll see.
And
Yeah.
the bigger concern for me for Fnatic is that they had to play more games and they've had to show more strategies, where on the side of Cloud9 you've seen Contract's been able to play multiple types of champions, which enables the rest of his team to do that. Will Broxah do that, and will Fnatic be able to do that, even though they had to play not only extra games but also like the play-in stage, but also they had to play all those tiebreakers as well. Do they have enough side strategies that aren't cheese, that are secondary strategies that they can execute just like their first strategy, like Misfits?
Okay, well, let me ask you, do you think RNG is going to win?
Yeah, I think RNG.
What about-
RNG's 100%
What about the
favored here.
second one? Because I'm actually curious.
Oh,
World Elite versus C9. Who do you
man.
got?
My heart says C9, but I
Then
think.
go with your heart! Come on, we
telling me no.
go with your heart!
But I think.
But my body.
I think World Elite takes it.
my
But
body's
here's
not
the
saying
thing.
C9.
But here's the thing though, is that I think C9 actually does have a good shot, and I
brain.
think if C9 plays their game where like they have contracts just completely neutral the jungler, and you just rely on Jensen to play the 1v1 matchup. Jensen's pretty good at that, so like I think they have possibilities that they can win, but I don't know, man.
Okay, I'm just going to say, I agree with you. My brain says World Elite. My heart says C9. My brain thought LZ was going to win. My brain thought SK2 was going to 3
That's true. Hit him
So,
with it, baby!
I'm just going to say C9 is going to
Yeah!
win against World Elite, and it's not going to be close.
Oh, that's spicy.
That, your brain,
That
did your
is-
brain turn off?
That
Yeah,
is spicy.
that's from the heart and not my brain.
Was that a burp? Was that what that
Oh,
was?
no,
That
I guess
was
it's
she was
my-
from the gut. All right.
So wait, your final call is 3-0?
So Scar's gone crazy.
My heart says 3-0, C9.
I love it. I'm there with you. Let's go 3-1.
All right, Mark, what do you got?
I already said RNG WE.
Yeah,
China
Yeah.
looking good this year.
All right.
China looking
These
good.
two got it. Me and Degon got our own
Yeah.
opinions. All right.
RNG will still fulfill the need to have a Chinese team there. I think they're gonna take SKT, which is a whole nother conversation. Once they
For
get
next
past
week.
Fnatic.
Yeah.
When you're not on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we were 9 like a middle open Airbnb. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in to our episode of Greatest League Talk. I almost forgot our show. Jesus.
Yeah, long day.
It's been one hell of a long day. Our next episode, finishing up the quarterfinals, is going to be on Monday.
Yes.
Ooh.
6 p.m. most likely again.
Yes, time to be determined, but assume evening. After that, we'll have every other episode on Monday. Or the semifinal episode on Monday, correct?
We might do Sunday if you want your sleep schedule fucked up. Remember?
Oh, okay. So,
'Cause you might go to China.
So, anyways, our next episode is on Monday. If you want more Greatest League Talk Show, you want to catch this episode, you missed a part of it because we went in and out and you couldn't catch everything that you wanted, it's on YouTube within 48 hours on youtube.com/greatestleagueTS. Additionally, lastly, thank you to our sponsor right up there, Acer Predator, #1 sponsor in our hearts, #1 sponsor of Greatest League Time, and your Worlds, your League of Legends World Championship.
And extra PS final thing to say, thanks to Degon and Abuelita.
Abuelita Maria coming through in the clutch here in Long
Sponsored
Beach.
by Abuelita.
Two drops, but not too bad, saving
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
like 6 hours in traffic.
Imagine how many drops it would have been if you'd done it at a hotel internet. That
Hey,
would've
we
been-
wouldn't
Probably-
even- we
yeah,
wouldn't have
we
gotten
wouldn't
it.
have
Yeah.
But thank you guys. That was a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks
Love
for
the
coming
show.
on, dude.
Yeah, man.
And with that, we will see you guys on Monday.
Bye.
Later.
With your heart.